a shot. Never mind your liver, get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot.
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.
Gino shot.
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot.
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gino Spot on this Monday night. I know a Monday night is not normally our usual. Our usual is Tuesday night, but we're off to Cape Town tomorrow. So I've got a couple of jiggy jigs down in Cape Town. It would be lovely. We're going to see if we can. I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to go to any wine farms, but it would be wonderful if I could. But Cape Town, we hope we're going to get some nice weather down there as well. We get some rain this week here. Hell's bells, we've had some rain and some lashing winds as well. Just to build up to our day where Garth Sampson says we are ready for a big flood. And so if you see any blocked drains, report them. Report them to your councillor, because we're going to need to have our valley cleared and our waterways cleared, so that if we do have that big flood, we're going to be ready for it. And so I hope you guys are cool tonight. Please get yourselves a drink. You'll see I'm in the studio tonight. I'm in the art studio tonight. That is because we have Graham Jones in the studio with us tonight. Graham, we're going to have a nice chat to him about all his artworks and about what he's been doing and what he's been busy with, and we're going to find out what makes Graham tick tonight. And also, obviously, we are going to be chatting to Dean Allen, because Dean's been away as well. He's been doing some stuff, so we'll have a peep in with him in Slovakia and see what he's been doing too. And in the meantime, let me know where you are and where you're watching from and what you have and what you got in your glass. Please get yourself a glass of something, whether it be a coffee or whether it be a juice or whether it be a vodka or whether it be a whatever, mother's little helper, whatever it is. Let me know what you're drinking. Hello, Camilla. It's lovely to see you. Lovely dog there, Jagger. Is that your dog, Jagger? And I hope that you've all had a good week and nice and cozy inside with the blankets overhead. Thank you to our sponsors as well. Obviously, Spa's been fantastic. In fact, we just had a hockey weekend with Spa, which was fantastic. The girls' schoolgirls hockey, which went very nicely. It was we had schools from all over the Eastern Cape getting together, which is great. Eastern Cape vibes. We had Queens. That's not DSG and GHS, Queenstown and Grahamstown played against each other. I just loved it. Otanikwa was there. I think Clarendon girls from East London, as well as collegiate represented here as well. And the finals were on Sunday, and I still have to find out who actually won the finals. I don't know yet. Maybe somebody knows in the comments. They can let me know. So I hope that you're all well. Tell me what you're drinking. Tell me where you're watching from, because we get people watching from all over the place, all over the world. Thank you also, yes, to Fat Cats Catering. Thank you very much, Fat Cats, for a little bit of chow for us. And we hope that everything's going well at home with you guys. I'm going to sing you in with a little song. I think we'll do that as we usually do. Send me some comments, so I'll sing your comments for you, obviously, because that's what we do at Gino Spot on a Monday night. We're not used to the Mondays. I thought love was only true in fairy tales, meant for someone else and Werner Lemmer. Oh, I'm on the Bin Bomb Sherry. Hey, the Bin Bomb Sherry, say hey. How's it, Graham? Says Werner over there. He says, how's it back? And then I saw her face, and I'm a believer without a trace. Subscribe as well. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube every day, because then you'll know when we're on every Wednesday, every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whenever we're on. That's right. Everything seems the more I gave, the less I got. Love was out to get me. That's the way it seemed. Disappointment haunted all my dreams. And next week on Gino Spot, we got Dean McClelland. He's the casual observer, and we'll chat to him. I'm in love, I'm a believer, I couldn't leave if I try. That's right. Make sure that you put in the comments whatever you want to say, any questions that you might have for Graham, you can put in there as well. Graham, of course, is sculptor, an artist, because we like to support the arts, because their rugby's always on, and the sports gets all the money. So we give to arts here where we can. And Greg Ritz, Monday's almost gone. He says clip is for the win. Where you drinking it from? I'm in love. I'm having a whiskey like this tonight, I say. I say. Now I'm a believer without a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love. I'm in a dilemma. Hey, Graham, drinking some sherry. That's what she says. And let's drink in some sherry. Graham's getting busy here with a little beer on the side here. We got a bit of everything here. We've got all in stock tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, first things first. Dean Allen is our historian. Our historian, he is doing a book on the Eastern Cape history of conservation, which he's working on, but he's on a little bit of a gap. One important thing about Dean Allen is his little daughter, Daniela, who is probably the most watched baby in the world. I think it's up to something like 70 million, over 70 million views of his daughter's video. My word, I mean, 70 million is a number that you can't really comprehend when you're talking about people, because I think it's more than the population of the country. I don't know. It's totally. It's probably a few countries put together of views that we've had that Dean has had for his little daughter, and it's made him a famous dude. So Dean is over in Slovakia at the moment, getting remarried. Would you believe? So he always likes to pop into Gino Spot. Let's have a look and see what Dean's been doing in Slovakia.
Hello, we just got married again here in Slovakia. Have a look at this beautiful church. We're walking it to the reception. There's my mum, there's my bride, there's uncle, and there's lovely Lenka. Dean. Hello, Baba. So here we are in the wedding reception. As you can see, everybody's having their meal. This is actually the town hall of the village, and this is before the party starts.
Oh, we need an opener in this place. We haven't got an opener. If Philippa's watching, she can bring one across. Please, bring one for us. Philippa, please. We need an opener. Welcome, Graham Jones. I know it's been, how long was it? I think I came and visited your studio probably just after COVID broke. I can't remember. It's probably about a year ago at least. Yeah. At least a year and a half ago, and it was so interesting coming into that building. It's the new place down at the bottom of where your studio was there.
Yeah, right below the fort.
You're still there?
No,
you moved out there because it was werk or something.
Yeah, it's still werk. Yeah, so okay. My unfinished work is still there.
Okay,
it's in storage, so I pay a storage fee.
Okay, all right.
In any hook.
In any hook.
In disgrace. It's very sad actually, because it's now more than a year. It's been frozen.
Really? Okay.
So we're all waiting, hopefully, that this funding comes from the government.
The funding, there's always a problem with the funding.
Yeah, and
from
it's
the
got very
government.
far. The whole project's 75% complete. So,
Yeah.
there's hope.
Okay.
And they're talking,
Yeah.
but I think it's just, who knows. I don't know.
Yeah, and then of course, if you finish it and you do everything, you spend all that money and you do, and then you sit with it for ages. So you've got to really.
Hulle skuld my geld, redelik baie geld.
Ja, okay.
Ja.
Jy moet betaal, hoorie.
Hulle moet betaal.
Hulle moet betaal. hè.
Dis die duur.
Oh my word. So I don't know.
No.
I hope Philip is watching this because we need an opener. Philippa, we need an opener, please. We need to open some stuff. In the meantime, we've got some wine as
Hey,
well.
Liz.
And if you want to pour yourself a gin and tonic, you're welcome as well. We've got a bit of punters here from.
Oh, maybe I'm going to go that
punters.
route.
Yeah, you can.
But
go
that's
for
like
it.
cool drink. That's a problem for me.
Oh, that's it. There's on the top. There's some gin and a bit of. We got all sorts here. Leslie Dawes saying, "How's it, Graham?"
Liz, hello, Liz.
He's
How's
just
it?
checking out the booze, Leslie.
Yeah, I just came here to drink,
You're long, Mr. Graham. There we go. It's.
I don't find any gin.
I'd rather top. There we go. There we go.
Oh, gin.
There we go. You can
Wow, look
slot
at
it in
that,
there.
huh?
These guys, we've got a bit of punters. It's green as well.
Mira.
And we're in this studio. I don't know whose studio this is, Graham. I hope it's to your satisfaction.
That one's fantastic. Yeah,
It's quite neat.
I'd love that studio. Yeah, spacious.
I just wonder if it's a real artist, if it's neat. Do you find that you need a neat studio, or do you?
Some
is it a mess?
some are like scientists. They are. I mean, I'm not artists, and they're great artists. Others are. There's chaos, so
Yeah.
Mine's a bit of both, I think.
Is it?
My father was extremely neat in his manner.
Really.
If I went to go and tamper with his drawers, he
yeah.
would know.
Okay.
And I couldn't even get in there, but if I did and I found the key, if I just tampered, one thing was out. My mother, I could scratch in her cupboard, in her bag, and
Yeah,
steal
never.
sweets and money. She would never know.
So do you think? And are you a little bit OCD as well? That's good. That's a shitty temple. That as well.
No. I have a bit of both. I'm very blessed like that. You know,
Okay.
in the view of the world as well.
Yeah.
I have a kind of. Sometimes I wish I had more of my dad's sense of
Okay.
order.
So
And since
ordered guy.
you know that story happened, got hit by a taxi, and
Yeah.
I've got my leg broke, and
Yeah.
my life fell apart. So I was sick for some years.
No, you'll have to tell us the story.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
anyway, no.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's a
so
long
I
story.
was down, so and I didn't make
Okay.
art for 10 years.
Wow.
No, it's a
Wow.
big
When
thing
was that?
in
When-
the creative's life, you know.
When was that?
2010, basically.
Really?
2020, yeah.
So that's quite later on in your career.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's-
yeah. I
Um,
mean, I was fiddling, but it took me for me to get really into where I was before.
Yeah,
Busy,
okay.
like lots of projects going on. and
yes.
community and all sorts of things, teaching, blah, 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 you know.
Yeah, those
Start
ideas coming.
One little drawing and one little, you know, so it
Yeah.
took me 10 years basically to get back on that horse. But what I was saying,
Yeah.
I forgot my thread. Where were we with this?
Yeah, no, I don't know. We're pouring a drink. There we go. You've got to try some of this. This is a
Where's
this
the good old
is the,
tonic?
it's a
No, good old
a tonic. This one is there's a
There's
tonic.
too many
there.
choices here.
There are. There's a lemonade there. That's a tonic. I don't know how full of bubbles that is. I don't know.
Okay, so what are these?
Gary's on his way back now with a thing. Those are really cool. They're
I'm old school. I like tonic and gin and tonic.
gin and tonics.
What-
There you go. You got one. There we go. There's your beer.
Wow, what is that?
You stick it on there and you just.
Have you seen a thing like that?
There we
before?
go. Like. Oh, there we go. There's it.
My dad had one of these things for wine bottles, and you stuck the syringe in, and you pumped
Yes.
it,
Oh yes.
and you did it in
I like that. Yes. Yeah,
Not only
there are all sorts of those things. People have got when they've
So
got
check,
their,
I've
their
got-
pubs.
Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm
they've
gonna
got
cheers.
both.
Eh?
Cheers. Cheers.
I'm not
to
gonna
you.
mix them.
No, I'm not mixing
Nice
yet.
to be here.
Fantastic. So no, you're talking about your accident when you.
No, I was,
so
there was a
did you
thread
get
that
knocked
I,
over?
there was a thread that I was trying to get to about
Yeah.
something that happened there.
Yeah, just the fact that you need to reinvent yourself and get going again.
yeah,
you know.
no.
Those ideas and that sense of order, I think that your dad. You were talking
Yeah,
about your
that
dad as
was
well.
it, exactly
Yeah.
the point. So I've never managed to catch up from that time where I just, the main problem after that accident was chronic fatigue. I just got this thing called chronic fatigue. You heard of it?
Well, they call it various things, isn't it? Like yuppie flu.
Yeah,
or-
man, I couldn't even get out of
those-
bed. You said
Yeah.
so just to have a pee was no, seriously. And you
Yeah.
look fine, so people can't. What's the matter with you, guy? Why don't you do something?
So it's
And you just
yeah,
it's like those wind-up toys that they just
yeah.
that's it.
Almost like a
Se-
depression,
No, it's
or-
hectic. Well, because you can't do your practice, whatever that practice is.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. If you're a dad and you can't love your, all those things, you can't
Yeah.
do your thing.
Yeah.
it's going to be depressing, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the secondary thing. But
Yeah,
just
yeah.
in terms of just no energy, so you wake
Okay.
up and it feels like you just run a marathon. You know,
Sure.
yeah, it was hard to navigate that.
They spoke. I mean, I remember in the 80s and the early 90s, we were talking about things like glandular fever and yuppie
Well, it's
flu.
the same thing, yeah. It's all of that. It's a virus, actually.
Okay,
They call it
okay.
Epstein-Barr virus, and it's actually
Epstein-Barr.
quite. Apparently, it's a lot of people have it.
Yeah.
They just their immune fights it, and then if you have a trauma like
Yes.
a divorce or you get hit by a taxi or you fall
Yes.
out or a parachute or something, then
Okay.
then your immune can succumb and then it
Yo.
gets the better of you. That's what. And there was a bit of a network of people that I managed to connect with that kind of helped me through. I did antibiotics for a year, and
Antibiotics. So the physical, the antibiotic stuff, but
that
then
also killed me.
the mental side. I mean, how did you get through that? I mean,
It was
did
close.
You,
I mean,
you
there
say
were
your-
times when it was it got dark, you know.
Okay. Wow.
But yeah, I think
Yeah.
one of the medicines for me was being a gardener,
Yeah.
and I'm a gardener, and I'm
Well,
still
just
a
when I
gardener.
phoned you the other day, you're doing a botany,
Yeah,
botany walk
It was great.
or something,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So you,
Yeah.
you enjoy that side.
I do a lot of that. Yeah, so that's my big hobby. We've got a group, a very active group in Port Elizabeth here. One of the branches. It's a national organisation called Dendrological Society. That's a big word.
Dendrological.
Ja, hulle het groot vir tree
Yes, so
huggers,
really,
basically.
50 punte vir daai woord, ja.
Tree people who love trees, and
Okay.
the importance of what trees mean,
Yeah.
especially the indigenous trees. That's really the focus here.
Is
So
that
the-
my tree? You gave me a tree.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a little white stinkwood.
A
So
little white thing.
if you plant it here, it'll lift up your paving. So if you want to plant it where you want to do that to some house or your neighbour or someone,
I'll put
or-
it in my backyard or something.
Yeah.
Somewhere
And
where
they're
it's
beautiful,
lekker.
and they lose their leaves in the winter, and they
Okay.
feed a lot of birds. Love them when they mature.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
beautiful.
Great
Well,
food
there's a-
source.
I mean, and yellowwood's also obviously indigenous, indigenous things. I know we've planted a few up in Clarendon Park, just up.
Wonderful.
A couple of years back, we did
Wow.
a couple of those.
Wow.
And I mean, I ride past every day. I must actually have a look and see how many have taken.
Yeah.
Because you find with the drought as well that.
Oh, yeah. No, I've
we-
lost a lot.
Yeah, I tried one down in the valley here, and it wasn't the right spot, you know.
In fact, I used to guerrilla garden just
Yeah.
a catapult away, just down here.
Yeah.
In fact, some of these people would shout at me when I think I lit a fire there when it had a dry or something.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
my first special dog that was 4 when I got run over in front of me.
Oh.
I buried her there. We used to go a lot to Dodds Farm.
Oh, okay.
It's by Moydan,
It is a beautiful Dodds Farm.
And I just thought I must plant a tree there for her, you know. And,
Yeah.
and then because I planted one, I thought, well, I might as well just plant 2. And then I added to them, and
Wow.
and then I did a rite of passage in Joburg at the Millennium,
Yeah.
just fate and
Yeah.
stuff, and that really. I beg people to water them while I was away, you know.
Okay.
In the
okay.
summer, it's
Yeah.
a dry time, you know. Our summer
Yeah,
is a dry
yes,
time,
yes.
and it's the hottest. So
Okay.
yeah. Anyway.
Okay. So you got trees all over the place. Wherever you go, you plant a bit. Plant a bit. No, it's. I mean, I love that, and but you clearly enjoy a bit of history as well. Because you've got like I mean, I know you're talking about Dodds Farm. I love that. I walk through that place, and it's got the old tennis court there,
Yeah.
and the old, you know, and you wonder what the whole
Yeah,
story.
the ruins and
Just
the
have
bits and pieces.
parties there.
Yeah.
And a little bit of tennis, you know, very clear.
I
you know?
say, would you like a gin and tonic?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I love walking through there. I know Linda Woodhead. I'm going to get Linda Woodhead to do a little pop in because her family, the Dodds family,
wonderful
had that
history.
piece of land, and there was a story about how he wasn't allowed to build on it. He wasn't allowed to build on the land itself. I don't know what the reason was. I'm sure there are a couple
Rings a
of people
bell.
out there. Yeah. We'll maybe find out from Dean McClellan, who's coming on next week as well. You'll enjoy
lovely.
that show.
I'll look.
He's got a website called the Casual Observer,
Okay, yes.
and it's a brilliant website, unbelievable. It's got just like a treasure trove of PE history, you know,
Wonderful,
and
okay.
Eastern Cape history.
Yeah.
Because I love that sort of thing, you know.
Myself,
and I think your artwork, certainly the one that you're working on there with tell us a little bit about that. That Sarki, it's a Sarki Botman
Yeah,
district.
that's honouring Sarah Bartman. Yeah, so that sort of is they put this out to tender nationally, that project, and so artists were selected, and then I nearly pulled out at the last second actually.
Wow.
I just didn't think I had the confidence that I would ever be selected for something like that.
Yeah.
Gary can maybe put up a picture of it. I don't know if there is one.
Yeah,
but-
if there's one, you'll have a quick squiz.
But anyway, Yeah, the theme was about their mythology. So,
Okay.
and the moon is always significant in the Khoisan history.
Okay.
Always very
Really?
significant.
Okay.
Kind of godlike, kind of the presence of the moon, was, yeah. So for them, they worship the moon, literally.
Okay.
And they're also very, close to the earth in that they follow the seasons, and so the sun and the moon, all those cycles are very kind of like, very, they were part of that.
Well, I mean, it makes sense that they're living off the land. They're living off, and particularly
Yeah.
like a pastoral kind of
Yes.
thing where,
Oh,
it's,
indeed,
where it's
yeah.
moving
And
around.
so they follow the
that-
rain, and they follow the
that weather,
So,
eh?
yeah, if there were drought, then they'd move.
Isn't that-
They're migratory, So that sculpture really, one of the reasons why I use sneezewood. So the whole core. Well, I'll start at the beginning. The first piece came from an actual fence pole.
Yes.
So I just cut a piece of fence pole. And I sort of played with measurements for a long time, made models and various things until I got this. So the first two pieces form a cross.
Okay.
Sort of hint at the sort of the Christian
Yeah.
missionaries were the first to come and make an impact here.
Yes.
And they were lap jointed with bolts and glue. So it was so everything was really structurally, I had to think about that whole structure thing throughout that thing.
Yes.
And then the second piece to be added was at 90 degrees to those, so that people who draw architecturally will know an isometric.
Yeah.
So you've got X, Y,
Yeah.
and then Z is 90 degrees to that.
Okay.
And then I added 45 to that, opposite 45 to that again, and then opposite 45 to that, and then opposite 45, and then you keep
Yeah,
on building, and then eventually go into a chaos because they weren't thin.
Okay. Yes.
So it starts getting this sort of chaotic ball,
Yes.
and it grew, but all the while I was adding these bits, they grew longer and thinner.
Okay.
It was interesting about like our own life. We get
Yes.
taller and thinner, or spiritually longer. I don't know.
Yeah.
There was a play on that thing.
Yeah.
As the
Getting
thing, 'cause
older and
when
gets
it's,
slightly.
when at the size it is now, it's like this. The pieces
Yeah.
are really long and thin,
Yeah.
and ultimately when I finish it, they will be very thin.
Okay. So it goes.
So
Will you be able to, I mean, can you see through that? You can
yeah,
see through that whole
so you
thing.
can see through, but it's dense. So you
Yeah.
can see through into the
the
through the
core.
wood, and the core is too dense. In fact,
Yeah.
it won't even light won't even go through it, which I kind of like. I like
Yeah.
the fact that. But yeah, the play was on the idea of the sneezewood fence poles that were put up by the settlers that stopped their migration.
Okay.
So they were sheep herders, so
Yeah.
they kept sheep,
Yeah.
and all those farms, in our region, because we're talking locally here,
Yeah.
kind of stopped that migration.
Yeah.
And
Of course.
eventually it killed it. So.
Yeah.
Plus the other stories, about the extermination, all of the other stuff,
Yeah,
the assimilation
yeah.
into blah blah blah. But so yeah,
To Western.
but yeah, no, yeah, it's been
So,
a fun project to do. A challenging one, I must say, very challenging. I never
Yeah.
actually thought I would, I didn't think I was worried about the energy for a thing like that, drilling through stainless steel, because it's all, hundreds of tubes of stainless steel.
It's
and
proper
it's
physical labour.
freaking
That's
nice.
Yes, and I take that. I mean, your dad's definitely coming through in you there, because that takes a lot of focus and a lot of
Yeah,
concentration.
and it's quite mathematical. It's quite
Yeah.
sort of,
Okay.
what's the word? In the thinking of it.
Yeah.
It's
Technical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's been a fun project. I hope to see it through. I hope that it gets
Yeah.
to where they.
Well, it was looking amazing, and like you said, this thing can actually roll over you and kill you if you don't watch out.
No, I remember at a time thinking, just because I don't know, I don't want to use up all the time here, but I
Yeah.
always love these ideas. I think on my Facebook profile, which is stone dead, I never go there. I must actually learn this
Your
thing.
Facebook is.
I get the nerves, so because I've sometimes posted in the wrong place, and then how do I take it off? And then, anyway, plus I don't know, I'm so busy doing stuff.
Yeah.
I find I'm not disciplined, having enough time to do. I wish I did actually, because it's a
Yeah.
great tool.
Yeah, the social media stuff.
But on that existing profile thing, I made the steel spherical frame out of members like this same sculpture started, just all these pieces. And then I put paraffin on the ends, and then I lit it and I rolled it down my street.
No way.
Yeah,
Whereabouts? Which street?
just where I live in Sherlock Street, just to film it. It was beautiful.
Central.
Yeah.
The guys are like looking out the window and say, "Oh well, it's Central."
Yeah. And
A flaming ball coming
Yeah,
down your road. I think our WhatsApp group would have a heart attack.
ja, nee, ek het hom gekeer daar dat hy nie.
Oh, there we go. Is that it?
Yeah, that's wow. How did you find that? Yeah,
Hey,
so,
nice,
so
nice.
that was it. Yeah, and
Is that you
It
lying?
looked
up?
beautiful,
Oh, look at that!
you
Look
know.
at that! There it goes. At night time.
so what I wanted to do was make big ones of them, like 3 meter diameter, and roll them down the dune at No, I wanted to, and then
Yeah?
I got sick at that time. That's
Okay,
when that whole
okay.
taxi, and
Okay.
now it's like the goalpost has shifted because
Yeah.
to do that and walk up those dunes, and you need assistance. But the idea
Yeah.
was to film it rolling down on fire, down
Yeah.
the dune, because I love what fire means as well. It's
Yeah.
quite a strong metaphor for
Yeah.
for change, for renewal,
Dying, regrowth.
yeah, all of those things.
Yeah.
Apart from just keeping warm in a fire, and
Yes,
the
yes.
cooking of our food and.
Yeah, yeah,
How we've survived really, close to fire for 100,000.
Yeah.
They're saying now 300,000 years now. They're going back. In fact, this is all in South African archaeological history now.
Yeah.
Some of the oldest records are right here.
Fire.
Of the
yeah,
human history and the use of fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Gee whiz.
So, yeah.
Because it's like, I mean, it's true what you say. It's like, well, fire was supposed to define the humans, that that's what we do, that nobody else does, or no other animals
Yeah.
do, or,
Yeah.
we're able to do that.
Yeah.
Which is, that's, it's crazy.
And
I
make
think,
it as well.
Gary's got a couple of Gary's got a couple of questions here, and he's ready for some early
Good.
questions as well. While we're busy, so that project is on ice at the moment. Are you busy with any other projects as well, or no?
Am I?
What are you doing at the moment? Are you loitering around?
Yeah, I'm loitering. I just recovered from a fractured wrist, and I'm left-handed, so it put me out. We're so dependent on our dominant arm.
Yeah. How did you break your wrist? I'd like to ask.
It was the most innocuous fall.
Really? Oh, just a fool. Oh, they're getting to that age now.
No, I wasn't even doing something like paragliding or something
Yeah.
motorbike. I wasn't even.
Did you trip over your mat
Yeah,
in
literally.
your kitchen?
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, running for the telephone. I was running for the telephone,
I wish,
and then I broke a hip.
Yeah. No, I was
Graham?
I was on a tree, and I'm involved with trees a lot. So I've been
Okay.
doing a project planting a lot of trees,
Okay.
and so it was on that there when a big tree had fallen down and
Oh,
potentially crushed some of the ones I planted. So I was like,
oh,
they're my children. Hey, I've got
okay,
like-
really? Yeah.
I've just
Proper.
recently planted the 700th, so I did.
So you're a proper tree hugger.
So yeah, so I'm
700.
all indigenous. So I'm very proud. It's been quite a.
That's like a job.
It's
Then.
quite a. No, it's been a big project. It's sort of like it's an art project actually.
Okay.
One day I'm going to make it into.
Where are most of them planted?
It's all in one place. It's all like so. I've got this little plot,
Yeah.
and it was 98% exotics.
Okay.
Cactus and
Yes.
you know the black waters. Come on, name a
Wattle.
couple.
Yeah,
Sarungo
wattle.
and
Okay, yes.
Port Jackson and
Port
Roy
Jackson,
Plants
syringas.
Inkberries,
Oh, yeah.
Lantana, all
Yes,
these things.
okay. Those are terrible ones.
And it's interesting when
The enemy.
when I've cleared a bit of land or cleared a space, thousands of seedling come up. And
Yes.
they're all these inkberries and
Oh.
almost no indigenous.
No indigenous. Oh,
It's-
jeez.
because when they brought the indigenous trees here, they didn't come with all the sort of what would you call it, the whole bouquet of insects that are part of them.
Yes,
Because each
yes.
organism has a whole gallery of
course.
things.
Of course.
We
a
didn't
tree.
see it like that when we
Yeah.
brought those trees here. We
Yeah.
just saw a tree, a person, a river,
Yeah.
a mountain, but they're all connected,
Yeah.
So all those trees don't have the insects that will eat first the flower or the
Yes.
bud, and then
Yes.
the flower, or then the fruit,
yeah.
and then the seed that develops. They don't need any of that, or the seedling, so that grows. So then they outcompete the indigenous.
Everything. I know that the syringas just grow
and
like
it's it
mad.
was a complete jungle and cactus, and it's been very difficult.
Yeah.
Is it even worth it? Kind of a question
Yeah.
in a challenge like that. But I'm at the point now where the change is very visible. Birds are coming that have never been there before, never been there,
Wow.
and I
Coming
hear
back.
them. And it's, hey, what is that bird? I never heard that one before. Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
It's like it totally floats my boat. I'm sort of
Yeah.
thinking, hang on, that thing in the studio,
Yeah.
banging away, a piece of marble. Oh.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I'll do it again.
Yeah.
But that's an incredible gym and church for me doing that
Okay.
stuff. But I'm busy at the moment with. I've been doing some little figures. I don't think
Yeah.
they've
Yeah.
all been in the summer.
What kind of figures?
They're little sort of female figures.
Okay.
They often have a sort of hint that they come from this continent,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
and they speak a lot about maybe.
You like to go.
Wind,
You like to
because-
say a lot with your works as well. You've got your.
A lot of those were wind themed, so there was all
Yeah.
these girls in the wind with the hair,
Okay.
little
Right,
peas,
yes.
so dresses flying up. I've done a
Yes.
series like that. I don't know
Okay.
if Gary, you can find any of those.
Yeah,
but
if you
there's a
can
bunch of
find-
those.
Okay, we'll do them
and,
afterwards.
and
Okay.
anyway, they're sort of in between things, because I'm actually a very divided person. Like I
Yeah.
think we are in this country. We
Yeah.
have two worlds living in one, more than any
Yes.
other country in the world. We're the most disparate.
Yeah.
And sometimes it saddens me to the point that I don't even know if I want to carry on.
Yeah.
I go into places where it's a sea of shacks, people live in a box,
Yeah.
and then we
Yeah.
have all these privileges, you know,
Yeah.
and we've got to be thankful for those sometimes,
Sure.
and not abuse them, but also I sometimes have a guilt there, and I
Yeah.
battle taking that privilege and embracing it, because I worked very
Yeah.
hard, you know. I
Yeah,
seriously have
of
worked
course.
very hard for what I've got, you know.
Of course, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah.
It's like but as long as if we're helping other people, I think we're doing the right thing. You know, it's like you've got to look at your entire community and try and pull everything forward.
Yeah.
That's what you've got to do. So you've got to
Yeah.
use what you have
Yeah.
to push everything forward.
Yeah.
And we have to settle with what we are.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I was talking to Tim Hopwood about that too. You know, that we are white South African middle-aged men. You know, it's like so politically incorrect, but that's what we are. We're here.
Yeah,
man.
you can't
What you
deny
gonna do?
that. I mean, we are
Yeah.
we're off the map and off our
Yeah.
use by dates long come and gone.
Long
you know what I
gone.
mean? Like, yeah.
But we're here,
Yeah.
and we're doing stuff.
Viva la raza, you know. So,
And you're making figures. You're making figures.
yeah, so these are,
There you go.
some of them
That's
are
it.
all are pre-taxi. So,
Okay.
you know, we have these geological times in our life
Yes,
where you
yes.
had your kid, your first kid, and
Yes.
where you bought in Thomas Road and these
Yes, yeah.
marriage, and
Yeah.
when you're 21, you go back.
Yeah.
These sort of landmark rites of passage, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so at the moment, what were I talking about? Figures, yeah. So,
Yeah, so you're going
the-
through, you said some were pre and some were post now.
They go back to the pre-taxi, so I just never
Okay.
got a chance to, because they all went on hold, and I
Yes.
wasn't in a position to. It's a lot of mental focus, and I just couldn't face it at that
Gee,
time.
that's
I just
great.
was too exhausted to.
Yeah.
I closed it mentally.
Yeah.
In fact, my healing was getting away from home studio and being on a farm
Yeah.
for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
That sort of was the tipping point where I hit a low and then
Yeah, okay.
came out of it. Yeah, so all good.
I was going to actually mention you that Ethel Trollope was on with Ian von Memeti a little while ago with
Okay.
Krista Jack, and
you play?
the two of them. No. Ethel was he's into him as well. He's a farmer as well.
No, yeah.
But him and Ian were talking about this this thing where you leave the land and let the and let the
weeds.
indigenous the weeds just grow.
Mm,
And there's a guy in Craddock, I think his name, I can't remember his name now. That did tell me, and we need to get him on the show as well, because there's this whole movement, you know, this where the everything comes back, like
Yeah.
literally, if you let that land go,
Yeah.
and what they do in Australia as well, they let the sheep eat it to nothing,
Okay.
like literally zero, and immediately the natural growth starts to grow. The grasses come through, and then that stifles the non-indigenous
Okay, yeah.
plants, and then the indigenous ones
Yeah.
come through because they're
Yeah.
used to the thing, and it transforms that landscape completely.
I wish it was that easy sometimes, but yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
yeah.
mean, I guess there's a theory there.
There's definitely a way of doing the land as well,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
And the yields are much better.
Yeah.
Anyway, but okay, so a couple of getting to know you questions to start with.
Getting to know all about you.
It's to Julie Andrews.
Our heels are alive with the sound
Sound
of
of
music. Where's that cow?
That's it. Okay, so the stupidest thing you've ever done.
When I was at school, I was at Grey.
Okay,
I'm
were you at Grey Boy?
I'm still recovering from that.
Junior school as well.
No, shit happened there. I couldn't.
really?
People would switch off the TV sets whatever their
Yeah,
devices
yes,
if I had to tell what happened. No, it was.
Okay.
I'm still recovering.
Really?
Put it
Yeah.
that way.
From Grey.
Some people know.
You know,
It took me a long time to actually realize that it was so deep and such a trauma that it kept on manifesting in weird behavior and self-doubt and
Yeah.
illness even, you know.
Yeah.
And then there was a point where I was with a beautiful girl, and you know the thing where you meet that lid for your bucket or whatever,
Yeah.
and it was just like that synergy.
Yes.
And then there was this thing going, and anyway, I resolved that I went to go and see those people that help us and well, I don't want to go there, but anyway,
that's fine.
in the junior years there, we did a play, and we had to go to collegiate to get some props, if I remember.
Okay.
They had these trolleys they used to take the pickets and those tarpaulins that they used to use to cover the pictures with. Like a steel trolley with steel wheels with a thin rubber tire.
Yes,
with a T-bar that you could pull it. Or you could pull it over and then use it as a steering wheel, kind of very primitive.
Not one of the ones like the ice cream ones.
No.
Too big.
No.
The
drag
pulling
this thing
ones.
along.
Yes.
Low thing.
Used to the kids used to have them as well.
Low off the ground trolley, so you could load a lot of kilos on it. It was a working trolley.
Yeah, proper.
I don't know if you saw them
I know the ones.
There was one there, the older, who was the field manager all those years ago.
Yes, okay.
I don't know who borrowed it, but we had this thing and we went to go and get all these props and load it on, then we came back and then we took stuff, that's right, because the trip back we were just empty. And remember, some hill there.
Yeah.
How is it that I'm now the one that's behind the steering wheel?
Yeah.
It just happened to be the karma,
Of course.
And there were all these Buraokis, all these farmers, they know most tractors. And they were driving buckies since they were... But I'm the one steering and I didn't know about driving really. How old was I? Was I in grade 10, the equivalent of grade 9?
It was 8.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we got to a point going down some steep hill, and we were a bunch of guys on this thing, hurtling down this.
On it.
Oh man! And then,
of course,
there was a car coming, and there was a car parked, and there was just no option.
God, so the
So it
parked
was
car.
like, and how's your judgment when you're that age and you haven't got a driver's license or
Parked car
experience?
or
So I'm
moving
skimming.
car.
Hang on, I can launch over the pavement and and
Of
not
course you can.
negotiate this. I mean, stop hitting to a car.
Yeah.
And or a parked car.
Yes.
Anyway, I think we hit the parked car.
Okay.
And we all went flying. So the owner heard about it and came chasing after us, and because I think we tried to make a dash for it.
Oh, really? Of course.
And then of course I was the one that was now responsible.
Yes, of course, because you were steering. Oh dear.
Yeah, and
Early.
we got 6 of the best, and then we had to dig holes. I had to dig holes for tree planting, so it was my first experience.
Oh, there you go.
And you'd have thought it would have put me off planting trees because it's quite rocky, there, with a pick. On a Saturday afternoon, when the oaks were jolling or had your afternoon off, you could go on be out freed from the boarding school cage.
Yeah.
I remember working with a pick there. Oh, my word. Anyway.
You wouldn't have thought that...
That was the stupidest thing, driving that...
No. Yeah, on down a hill, pretty Mount Road or something like that. Oh, my soul. Okay. What do you find yourself doing a lot these days?
Gardening, tree planting, and I mean, I really do probably too much of it, but it's absorbed me to the point where it's now taken me. I just can't help,
Well, this botany thing that you went on, it was down Mission Vale side you were talking about.
Yeah, so that was in the Van der Kemp Kloof. Very interesting. You must go there.
Okay.
Van der Kemp's Kloof.
Yeah.
It was the first church in Port Elizabeth.
Oh, wow.
There's a great history there of early Port Elizabeth.
Love it.
The mission Van der Kemp.
Okay.
Set up there. That was the first happening. It's before this 20 settlers
Before the settlers, there.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful little valley. Okay. It's not pristine anymore, but the parts of it are pristine. So they've made a trail now that's now on the tourist map.
Fantastic, and I hope for people that are like trail runners and guys like that. You need to have people coming through.
It's beautiful. There's incredible biodiversity there. It's a particular kind of landscape. I'm not a botanist that could tell you what it is because it's a sort of a Table Mountain sandstone, so it's fire prone.
Okay.
Those hills.
Okay.
And you get a lot of succulent and thicket in the
fynbos
and fynbos, a lot of fynbos, and all these succulents. Very interesting succulents.
Okay.
I have on my phone. I wish I could have shared them. Some beautiful things. I mean, they are just. You have gone. Oh, that you get here. Not in the jungles in the Amazon. That's here in PE. Yeah.
But we have got a massive diversity, haven't we?
Incredible.
I know that they're talking about Cape Town and PE as well.
No, PE is actually. There's this incredible botanist. I'd love you to get him on here.
Yeah.
He's an amazing dude. He's actually left a great mark at NMU.
Okay.
He still does sort of doctoral, he's sort of like, what do you call it, he mentors and but he's sort of into retirement now.
Okay.
His name's Prof. Richard Cowling.
Okay.
So he talks about this thing where you've got the Western Cape. Okay, there's a map there. So the Western Cape's on this side. I've got to go opposite. So the Western Cape's on that side, Cape Town, and the winter rainfall, and Durban and the east side is on that side.
Yeah.
So you get the winter rain and the summer rain.
Okay. Yeah.
Cape Town gets Durban gets.
Yeah.
We get sometimes both
Yes.
and sometimes neither. So for thousands of years, it's developed its unique, and we've got this crossover
Okay.
that's given us more diversity here than almost. I mean, we are actually. It's a particularly special place.
Well, now that you say that,
It's
I
a
mean, you
particularly
think about it,
special place.
Summer,
Botanically
winter,
speaking.
rainfall. You know, we do get a bit of a mix.
and it's got a great history.
Yeah.
Going back, into the millions of years.
Yeah.
And
Well,
with-
this is the thing is like there's no time limit on the earth.
Yeah.
It's just like and trees
Yeah.
and stuff like you just it's a never-ending piece of string.
Except climate change, I don't know your viewers out there what they think about it. I'm sure there are a lot of skeptics
Yeah,
and
yeah.
conspiracy. Hey
Yeah.
guys, climate change, it's happening.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know what they're saying now? I heard a thing just recently, or read it actually.
Yeah.
In Antarctica, because South Africa has a ship, they're Gullis. They
Yes.
go there all the time. Our
Yeah, yeah.
scientists go there and they do a lot of work, amazing world leading work actually.
Yeah.
They were saying that it's warming there 4 times faster than anywhere else.
Wow. Okay.
And it's the fastest sort of warming, because the planet's had warming cycles for millions of years. Great warmings, where we would have been boiling. We wouldn't,
Yeah.
These cycles have come and gone
Yeah.
over the millions of years. But this is the fastest one, where it's just like this.
Wow.
Fastest, yeah.
Because it was always it's
Those have
the earth
happened
was always
over
settling.
over 1,000 years or a 10,000 year period of warming.
Yeah.
Not in the matter of a century or something, where it's
Yeah.
like a steep graph going up of warming
Yeah.
from the human impact.
It's crazy that and you know what? It's only the humans and the animals now that are gonna suffer. I mean, the earth will survive. It'll carry on and go for
Well, that's the
millions.
thing, it will.
But everything will be dead, and then they'll have to
The
regenerate.
starfish will
it.
be going fine, and the jellyfish, and
Yeah.
there'll be a few of those glubbing around for
Gloob-
another
yeah, a
million
couple
years.
of gloops around.
No,
And they'll
but-
start again. They'll start again,
They'll
and
start
we'll
again.
be buggered.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there at Van der Kempskloof, I mean, it's kind of pristine in a way, but there was a scat of looked like a lynx,
Yeah.
and in it was plastic, and
Oh.
that's the peri-urban
Yeah.
thing. And it just made me
That's
think, our impact is just so spreading, it's so everywhere. Anyway, let's talk about nice things.
Yes, we're trying to survive. Yeah.
Nice
Okay.
things, happy things.
Your weirdest habit.
Oh, dude.
What
Weirdest
have you got?
habit. No, I
Habits.
didn't.
Good habits.
I didn't include.
Have you got? have you got all quirky things that you do? Or,
Lots, but I can't think anything that's particularly. Oh, I do.
Yeah.
So this is about 2 years now I've been doing it.
Yeah.
It's some people are going to be kind of it's a bit off-putting, but it's very good.
Yeah.
Since the drought, and we were being urged to use 50 liters a day. So
Yes.
if I use a load of washing, it's 90 liters.
Yeah.
My washing machine.
Okay, yeah.
Just one load,
Yeah.
and that's being without lots of rinses and stuff.
No, it's lots. It is
And that's not a family of 4 where you're doing,
Yeah.
multiple washes and you've got just a thing you used once and it's going in and you're,
Yeah. Not that.
So it was like, hang on, how do you get down? I mean, that's impossible, 50
Yeah.
years there. And I mean, I've been following things like this quite a bit. So for about 2 years I've been doing what you call a compost toilet. So I poop literally in a bucket with sawdust. So it is a bit of a weird
Okay.
thing.
Yeah,
Just
no,
to
no,
answer
no.
your question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you
Gary's
go into
having
that
a
room,
laugh.
let's say we come into that room now and there's a poo bucket and I
Yeah.
say, do you notice anything odd? Is there a smell here of
Yeah.
a toilet? You wouldn't, it would be like this room.
Smells like.
Have you been
crap.
into a place where there's a long drop?
Oh no, terrible.
It's like
No.
the stench is so, you just get in and you think, how are you even going to activate your
Yeah.
bowels in a
Yeah,
space
no,
like
you
that?
can't.
It's-
Yeah.
And the secret is you don't mix the urine with
Oh.
the brown stuff.
Okay, so you
and,
just-
And there are
just-
separators now that are commonly available for people to do this. So
Okay.
the young
Separators.
the young people that are off the grid that are doing more and more of this when you
Yeah.
look online, that are doing interesting
Really?
things like that. Yeah, and they poop in a... And
And
we
it's
also
a
do
sawdust kind of thing, but it's a special kind of thing. or-
it just dries it. So
Okay.
so it just and I've got a place I plant when I plant a tree I just bury it. So,
Yeah.
so
Planting trees and feeding trees.
yeah, so that's
for the last-
luckily I can do it. I have a
Wow.
place to put it. But I mean, there's
Yeah.
surely a community in your neighbourhood where you can just take your bucket. So if you see a guy walking across the road with a bucket, and,
You know
and
he's
burying
going.
something, you know what he's doing. But it works for me, and I do it, and I save a lot of
Yeah.
water, and it's a nice principle.
If anybody wants to do it, I can send Graham a quick message and he'll sort it
No,
out
a
for
great
you.
friend of mine was doing it 20 years ago already.
I love it. Sue Rhodes is going to enjoy this little section. She does our edits after the show,
Oh, my
so
word.
she's gonna like that edit.
Oh my word! Yeah.
And the most adventurous thing you've ever done in your life.
I think taking up paragliding was an adventurous thing because it's a risky thing, you know, and you know about those risks sort of because when you launch off your first time with an instructor on a trial flight to see, hey, as a tandem.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have it was just wow, I've got to do this. But there were times when I realized because I nearly killed myself. I actually had a collapse. So the whole thing, picture a sheet in the wind. Oof. That happened to me.
Oh my God!
And I should have probably been dead. Because it was a.
It sounds like a couple of times you should have nearly been dead.
No, that's true.
How many lives you got left?
My sister said the same thing to me. You know, hang on, you're running out of those.
You're
9.
9. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so paragliding and
I did it for I don't know.
What goes through your head when that happens?
I might have can't remember how many hours I flew. Maybe 100 hours.
Okay.
I did a lot.
And that's with the motor on the
no.
Just on the thermals.
So we have a great club here in PE. I haven't been involved anymore.
Seaway. Or is it up there? What do you do?
Well, they use Maitlands as a takeoff. They use Lady Slip as a takeoff. They have used a place in Addo. There's lots of places, and then there's a great site in at the turn-off to Corredo on the N2, all the way down towards Storms River. There's a turn-off to Corredo.
Okay. Yes.
At that turn-off, there's a farmer there who allowed us to take off on his ridge, and you can actually see the windsock from the N2 when you pass it. It's very near.
Okay.
And that's been, for me, the most incredible flying. I flew my longest flight there. It was a 50 kilometer, well actually almost 60 kilometers actually flight.
Yeah. Jeez.
All the way to Storms River.
Along the side of the mountain, obviously.
Yeah, you hug that ridge, you know. And
it keeps on, that wind keeps on blowing there.
And then there are gaps in that range where you've got to like jump that gap, and it's scary because if you don't, and it happened to me where, then you've got to land because you know now you're not going to get more height and you've got to just, where? And there are rocks there's a tree there, could be a power line there, and you just, So, and shit happens, you know. I had a few bumps where I hurt myself. Stefan Ferreri, he's a vet here, lovely guy, Dr. Stefan. He flew in. They used to do thermal flying, which I never did in Graafrenet, Valley of Desolation.
I know Dr. Ferreri, just 9th Avenue.
And he had a fallout there, and he was in hospital with fractured pelvis.
Okay.
You know that's a big injury. You know, it's a big injury.
Bigger.
And I mean, I watched a guy that was in training that he fell out of the sky, and he had to be airlifted. I mean, I saw it all. And not long ago, a top pilot died in one of the sites near Plettenberg Bay.
So quite dangerous.
Yeah, it's a great adventure, but it is something that how did you word that? Yeah, but it's
the most adventurous thing you've ever done. I'd say. No, that's good. I mean, 60 k's. That's a long way. So you normally come all the way back as well.
Yeah, that one was a return.
Wow.
But the guys that have done, in fact, I think the world record, Neville Hewlett,
yes.
I think he could still he's held it for a very long, the world record, man, from our club.
That's incredible.
And it's something like 5, and it's not even a linear distance. Sorry, that 506 k's I think is a linear distance.
Wow, okay.
But he flew like this. But that's it's all thermal flying. And it's balls, that's real balls.
Thermal stuff.
Taken off on a winch, and you go right up, you're up 3 k's up, you know, and you...
on a winch?
Well, you don't go that high on the winch, but the winch will take you up to the point as soon as you get lift with that thermic hot air.
Yes. It's got to be like a low pressure zone. It goes up.
And you did a linear distance of 506, which I think is still the current. I'm not sure. I haven't followed up on that. But
I've seen him doing it because we go out of Juliet to go paddle there. And he's always on his SUP. He's always SUP there.
No, ask him about it. He's a great... He's an incredible pilot. He's got. I mean, some of the stories. He had a collapse in Brazil flying in a competition.
Oh my word!
And even a reserve chute got tangled, and it's that kind of thing where that classic thing of that cravat, and and you're going down, and he survived that, but he's. I always wanted to know, where did you get those balls from? But his old man had them. His old man...
Yes, he was a pilot.
I remember going on their yacht.
Leighton.
I remember going on their yacht out through the port there,
Yeah.
somebody hooked a whale on a trip on the actual.
Well, we're getting. I just saw Philippa Hewlett as well. Philippa Hill was out surfing the other, 2-3 days ago. I was out at St. Francis, and she's still surfing.
Wow.
And she was like flipping nose riding,
Wow.
unbelievable.
Wow.
So when she got out the water, I said, I've got to have you on the show. So she's actually going to come on.
Wonderful.
Just spoken to her recently.
No.
She's going to be on as well. But yeah, I absolutely love it, and that kind of that's it. When something goes wrong, all you're doing is thinking, okay, how do I get out of this? How do you get out of this? Is that the thing? Do you go in? Do you switch over to some sort of mode where you're just looking for problem solving? Or
I never got into I mean when my glider collapsed, it was all just so quick. And it was like the sheet going, and then it was like there was nothing you could do. You can't deploy a reserve at 30 meters.
Sure.
But you can fall hard from
But
30
no,
meters.
I mean, this is the one with it's not a. I'm thinking it's not
No motor.
No motor.
It's like a kind of-
but is it like a one of those rounded parachute kind of things?
It's like a very advanced parachute. It's
But
high tech.
it's not the fixed wing.
And it's very long and very narrow. It's like longer than this room.
Okay,
And
yeah.
narrow, and it looks like an aeroplane wing from the side.
Yeah.
Hence, it's aerodynamic. So an aeroplane wing is designed to create lift. 'cause
Yes.
it's bigger on the top than on the bottom.
Okay. Yes.
You know
yes.
the,
Okay. Yes.
the
Yes.
technology. So
Yeah.
it's designed exactly like that.
Sure,
But it's
okay.
very high tech.
Yeah. Amazing.
So
stuff.
they're incredible things.
So you're pulling this, you're pulling that.
Yeah, and I mean you can get very high. I mean you can get kilometers up. You know,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful. You know.
But if you start going down, you're figuring out what you can do next. I don't know. Maybe your dance focus comes into play there.
No, when that car took me out, I actually thought, no, I can do this. I can stop the car. You know, I went into that. No, this is doable. You know, your brain sort of kicks into. And then eventually it was just go with this. The river is going to take me and see where it takes me.
Go. Just go.
You let go. Let it. Yeah.
Okay, another one. The hardest you've ever worked.
Sure. I've got a colleague. He's just retiring now from the art school.
Okay.
He's sort of distant brothers. He's a Jones.
Who's
David Jones.
Okay.
And he was in sculpture there as well. People often confused us.
You're Welsh.
He's a big oak.
Jones.
Aye. And he always complained that he got both breasts when we were breastfeeding. And I got none. Anyway, no, he's a good oak. He's left a mark there, you know. He's anyway, and he had apparently created this. He knew he was going to get this post. He was working in some job in Joburg, and he made all the right moves in his career.
Okay.
He'd worked at a foundry where he'd got the latest in the bronze casting technology prior to him when that post came available.
Yeah.
So it was still back then. I was a student in my 4th year, and he was there, and he actually taught me in my very first year.
Oh wow. Okay.
And he was there for a little while, just helping out.
What was that? 80.
Oh, yeah, 80.
80 something.
80.
80. Wow.
80.
1980. Good year for
Can you
music.
play that song? Would you still leave me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
When I'm 64.
That's now.
So now 64.
So anyway, and he had this commission for the Bishu Supreme Court.
Oh wow.
And their emblem is this secretary bird, the blue crown full. What is
Oh,
that?
blue crane.
Yeah, blue crane. And he asked me, actually no, he was there doing this thing, and he was talking with the then lecturer. His name is Phil Colby.
Yes.
Well known Phil Colby.
Phil Colby. My brother, my son is good mates with his grandson.
Yes. So
Michael.
So Phil was my
And
mentor.
Renette sometimes watches the show. It's of course it was Conrad Colby.
Yes.
Was the son. Yeah.
So Phil was my mentor.
Okay, wow.
And in sculpture, and so David was there, and then I was doing my thing, and I remember one of those, I was very parrot with work. I looked scruffy, had hair and earrings and nose rings, and my clothes were all scruffy and patched, and that's sort of something I wanted to say as an image, you know.
Yes.
And I was quite a bit tuache, you know, against the system.
Okay,
you know.
yes.
Especially that very Afrikaner, no offense to the...
Verkrampt.
But that verkrampt,
Yeah,
you know, those guys who were running that show with the
Yeah.
status quo in South Africa, you know.
Yeah.
And anyway, and I got actually expelled there, but that's another whole story. We're going to need another time.
Technicon.
Yeah. But David was doing this thing, and I used to cycle and then I'd surf. Actually, then I surf.
Okay.
So
Oh, right,
I'd
okay.
come back and I'd have surf, and then I'd be
Nice.
back for evening's work. I'd
Yes.
be working on my written stuff or the drawing,
Yes,
whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
And then one day said, could I help him with this job? And I thought it was just a day or two, and then shit ran, and
Yeah.
and we landed up working, building up to, I don't know how, but we actually worked for 7 days without sleeping. Now,
Holy crap.
I would never be able to do that even, I don't think, even if I was that age again, unless I
Yeah.
had that exact environment, because we
Yeah.
pushed each other.
Okay.
But I never thought I'd make it after 2, because I had done already 2 nights.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
by the second night, I was so useless, it actually didn't work
Yeah,
out. I was
okay.
doing nothing constructive anyway.
Yeah.
Might as well just have slept.
Yeah. Yeah. You-
Deadlines as art students,
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
You left it and you...
Yes,
I
at
thought
the last minute, and then you had to work all night.
But we worked for 7 days non-stop, and I remember going through all these emotions of crying, laughing, all in a matter of 5 minutes, and sort of welding and sort of almost falling asleep on
Yeah.
the job and having to try and and
Yeah.
we got to a point where we were so sort of on an adrenaline or something,
Yeah.
almost like a high,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that how we drove a bucky all the way to King Williamstown and installed that thing.
Oh my soul! You still had to go and install them.
Yeah, and then he had to fly back and he was already late for
Yeah.
work and all this sort of stuff and blah, blah, blah. But I remember, I think I slept in some friends' house with, they were students, I think, anyway.
Yeah, but they
for
say- they
like
say-
2 days or something.
When you are not sleeping for so long, your brain, you can actually not sleep. You can actually, but your brain decides that it's going to shut off your
The portion of your-
the portion of your brain. So it shuts off the portion that makes sense of things. So I was listening to the podcast just the other day. So it's almost like you feel like you can fly or whatever. You start to hallucinate.
Yeah,
because your brain just
No,
works.
it was
and it's got
we
no
laughed.
tether.
And we cried.
It's
And it was,
untethered.
I felt very light. And I remember
Yeah.
he was feeding me Kit Kat. Remember Kit Kat and tea, I think. I don't know if I was a coffee drinker then yet.
Okay.
But
No,
yeah,
my
and
soul.
hamburgers and stuff. Yeah, and we did it
Jesus.
actually. It was, I mean,
Unbelievable. So that was the hardest you ever worked. That's a good story.
well,
though.
I'm the hardest.
Certainly the longest.
Yeah.
In one go.
Yeah, I think there are times where it was harder, but it might have been more
Yeah.
dense. But that
Okay.
was just a story.
No, that's a good story. It's a good story. And the most uncomfortable place that you've ever slept as well.
Oh, Gino, I recall I travelled in Europe. I was very lucky. My dad
Okay.
said to me when I was a young oak, he said, you must do, and you refer to an uncle, like a peer when you've got, you grow up
Yeah.
with uncles and their sons, and
Yeah.
there always are examples
Yes,
of
your cousins.
Uncle Jim's son. He went and he counted deer and he hammered in shingles, and you should do something like that. And they call it ashes work, where you do something sort of below your station,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
sweeping a floor.
Yeah.
Not something grand. Like I was
Yeah.
already teaching at university level,
Yeah.
by then,
Yeah.
and I went and I did in fact, my first job was sweeping a factory floor
Okay.
and emptying the dustbins and stuff. And it was quite weird because the first doctor was friendly to me. It was very ironic, actually.
Yeah.
Was a black dude
Yeah.
in this big factory in the UK.
Yeah.
And I was sweeping, and he was the first doctor to say, "Hey, guy, how do you do?
Yeah.
Let's go for a coffee at the
Oh, wow.
cafeteria." Because all the others,
Yeah.
you got to earn your space. You got
Yeah.
to take a year of sweeping
Work,
before we
man.
even say hello. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
"Oi, guy, how you doing, mate?"
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it was funny talking to him because he didn't know where his ancestors came from.
What?
And he spoke like a limey,
Yeah,
What are
yeah.
you doing, mate?
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
black,
Yeah, I know.
I know
Crazy.
quite as tit
For a
there you go.
Yeah, here you go.
No, he didn't know a thing about his roots. And
I
I was
got
quite
quite-
horrified that.
Yeah.
And so I did those ashes work. But
Yeah.
on that whole thing, then I travelled and all around Europe and everywhere. And some actually, I think I had some quite equally as this one. I was just thinking, where was what
Yeah.
was the question? The night I spent.
The most uncomfortable place
but
you slept.
I'd been to this, is it Winchester Cathedral, this incredibly vast
Yeah.
medieval cathedral
Yes,
that I
yes.
spent a day wandering around. It was
Okay.
incredible. I mean,
Yes.
just the size of these things and these stones, how they got them
Amazing.
literally 200 feet up
Yeah.
with these winches that are a big wheel
Yeah.
that a man walks,
Oh, no ways. Okay.
like a hamster's wheel.
Yeah, it's like
Exactly
a
like that.
proper Da Vinci kind of move, eh?
Hamster wheel, and then these big stones that are weighing a ton go up right up.
Holy crap.
And they'd slot it in, and the masons.
Of course, they're
You know,
if any of these folks actually
incredible,
let that wheel
incredible.
go.
That whole structure of the bell tower at that cathedral
Yeah.
was buckling under the weight of it. So they were actually, while I was there, they were doing this whole thing with Prince Charles, building
Okay.
a steel reinforcing cage,
Okay, to keep it
because
up.
it was 1200. I mean,
Yeah,
we're talking,
yeah.
you know, there's been
Centuries.
subsidence in the soil, you know, because of the weight of
Yeah.
it and all kinds of things, and but it's all good. But
Yeah.
it was incredible, you know, climbing up in the ramparts there and seeing all of that stuff and
Yeah.
learning about that. Anyway, I left there kind of
It's actually worked in the
dazed
spots as well.
from all of this sort of
Yes.
of information overload.
Yeah.
And I just wanted, I think I got some chips or something and whatever.
Yeah.
I roughed it actually,
Yeah, yeah.
and I had a bicycle. So I went from England to Land's End on a bicycle.
Good Lord.
So it was on that trip.
Yeah.
And I remember I saw Stonehenge. It was a big landmark because I always wanted to see this place
Okay.
of my ancestors, you know.
Yes, yes.
Those people who moved big
Those
rocks.
Welsh people. Yes.
Don't play.
Yeah,
A rock the
yeah.
size of a freaking truck.
Yeah.
You know, just some of them.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, and in Wiltshire there at this cathedral, I went off and I went and slept in a graveyard. Just half like sort of the weirdness of it, and
Yeah.
it was
Stephen King
It felt
vibe.
it just felt like it was a bit of a sanctuary in a way. There was, you know, I felt it was
Yeah.
a place where nobody would go and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna lock you up," you know,
Yeah.
or where
Spiritual place.
or
Yeah.
where somebody would disturb me, you know.
Yeah.
So I felt safe, but
Yeah.
it wasn't a comfortable night, you know.
Okay, yeah.
It was a bit odd, but that, yeah.
It was a joke where the guy says, no, you he came and slept at the graveyard, and then the next morning went for his doctor's thing and said, take off your clothes, and he took off his clothes and said, how old are you? He says, 42. He says, well, it says on your butt here that you died in 1843. So you didn't have that on your
no.
emblazoned on yourself.
No.
But no, so I see you like that that sort of spiritual side as well. You know, you feel close to nature and you find a bit of solace in there.
Yeah. No, I do.
Okay.
I love the cycles of the sun and the moon as well.
Yeah,
and,
okay.
and that sort of the bigger picture of planet
Yeah.
Earth and it's sort of, yeah, I suppose, I don't know, spirituality, but there's a
Yeah.
spiritual connection to it all.
Yeah.
I think all living things and their connection, that's my sort of spiritual
It works,
garden, you know.
works as a whole. This
Yeah,
whole thing.
that's,
Yeah.
and all of them, you know.
Yeah.
So when that gets out of, so maybe my little project, I'm trying to like put back what would have been
Would
taken
have been
away
there. Yes.
about 250 years ago.
I
when-
like that. Great.
Yeah,
I
so-
like it.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about these ties that you got around your neck here.
Yeah,
What's
I mean,
going
it's,
on
it's a big deal to walk into a place with some ties. It's very
there? Yeah,
odd.
you got a lot of ties.
So I used to have to wear a tie every day in Bloemfontein at the Technikon.
Oh, you're there, Bloom.
Yeah, it
You
was-
became
it was my first
swat.
tertiary post, yeah. So
Okay,
yeah,
so
so
lecturing
I was
there.
teaching in sculpture and drawing and
And you had to
various other things. Yeah, and
so you had a tie every day or what?
so, you know, but with sculpture, you're working with machine tools and stuff,
Yes.
and you get your head taken off by a bandsaw that sucks your tie in,
Yeah,
and
of
all
course.
these sort of things. So I thought also, I mean, where I was at the then Paulus Technikon, ties were really long. They were verboten.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
long out of.
Yeah.
They'd really realised this is a relic of the past,
Yeah.
especially in this department.
Yes.
The management were still, you know, some of them was,
Yes.
the lecturers were still wearing ties and that stuff. But even
Yeah.
those started to shed there, and the pharmacists and the scientists
Yes.
also,
Yeah.
ties of the, in
Yeah.
Africa, man, you can wear a safari suit.
Yeah.
So I made these ties one by one, just sort of as a comment of, you know, how ridiculous wearing a tie is, you know.
Yeah, okay.
So I was trying to make them as loud or as ridiculous as possible, you know.
So
So,
you made them yourself. So you
yeah.
can do a bit of sewing and stuff yourself
and then
as
there
well.
was sort of some were, they were all like remnants of the students, colleagues who were doing fashion and textiles. So go
Okay.
and get the leftovers of beautiful textiles. And so that was a cool little tie. Imagine just a little,
Yes,
tiny
the-
little tie.
They're very
like that.
80s.
Yeah,
80s
so
moves there going on.
like,
pink
what's
pink with the turquoise spots.
yeah, the Clash and the Cure.
Yeah,
and
the
those
clay,
kinds
yeah.
of,
What is it called? The new romantics, new
New age
romantics,
sort of-
new age, yeah,
yeah.
new wave,
New Wave, yeah.
new wave. I was a big Adam Ant fan.
Okay.
I loved that new wave.
Elvis Costello, you remember
Yeah,
Elvis
wow,
Costello?
yeah,
he
yeah,
was like
dude.
the guy that I thought, wow, no, he's got something to say, and he can play that thing very musically. Yeah,
Yeah.
I loved so yeah, that was.
Music-wise, what are your taste musically?
I actually was going to bring an album. I thought,
Yeah.
could you please play me a song as a background thing? You've got a colour, so I can play music, you know. And it would have been, I thought I'd find a balance, you know. Sid Kitchen is like an old friend, and he wrote this song called I'm a Cool Logic.
Yeah.
Don't know if you know the song, but
I don't know.
it's aggressive, it's hard,
Okay.
it's edgy, but it's
Electric or acoustic, because he was an acoustic guy mostly.
yeah. I think it's a mixed thing because it is quite a production, you know, with the band.
Wow. Okay.
But it's. I think it came from that sort of Africa's not for sissies thing, where he really says how it is out there, you know, where, you know, was the line? I think of a line from one of the songs.
Yeah.
Kids with kids. I can't in front of the camera get stage fright, but
Yeah. Go.
the situation we're in now, where there are kids with guns and rape for fun and blah blah blah, and he hits it in a sort of like a rap sequence, and he's actually a great writer.
Yeah.
Kitchen. He could write very beautifully, you know.
Yeah.
And he did an anthology of poetry as well.
Okay.
So yeah,
Gary, I'm sure knows Sid Kitchen as well. He's
and
been
I thought I'd definitely give Steve Newman a punt because he wrote some very beautiful songs, and some African musicians. Like I'm a big fan of Maskande.
Okay, all right.
I love
okay,
Maskande.
Yeah.
Mhlobo Wanene, Shani Ngobo and Puza Mchemist and Uhashim Klope. Those guys, I don't know, somehow in my blood, I just, when I hear that stuff, it kind of gets me going. I want to like...
for you. It's amazing.
Johnny Clegg, you know, he was, you know...
He was the guy.
I love that stuff. And somehow it was in me.
It's of course it's in us.
And my family, they didn't pick it up. Some of my siblings... nada, you know, but it's in me somewhere from.
Of course.
Maybe when I was a little boy, something happened.
No, we are what we are, you know. We said, here we go. Gary's got a Sid Kitchen.
And Tom Waits is also another one of my. Tom Waits is the guy.
There we go.
Okay, yeah.
Is that the one?
No, this is not the one, but it'll do. Yeah, and he. But if you listen to what he says here, he's quite scathing about us. He's ripping us off. Actually.
Yeah.
But he's a great poet. I think he actually had a lot to say, important things, you know.
Well, he's very well respected for sure.
Yeah, no, he's a great dude.
The way he does stuff.
Yeah, so Tom Waits is another musical hero of mine. I love.
Oh, you like Tom Waits as well?
I love what he does.
No, Anton Karlitz is a big Tom Waits fan, and we used to do that Bone Machine and that stuff.
Just I've still got cassettes that I listen to because I haven't been able to actually get into this new era where I've gone online with all the digital, downloading stuff.
It's amazing.
So I've got incredible stuff that I've recorded from. Do you remember Richard Haslop had a thing called Roots to Fruits?
Sure, no.
Anyway, he had a thing on SAFM for years.
Okay.
And it was the weirdest, oddest, most beautiful, rare music.
Yeah.
For example, you had a guy, he'd find these recordings, and he had a record collection that was legendary, you know. You know, he's a PE guy, and he studied law, so he practiced as a lawyer, and then music was his passion. He was sort of one of the early Four Winds Folk Club right here in PE, and then he had this program called Roots to Fruits for years on SAFM.
Wow.
And it was often a late night thing, so often I'd be preparing for the next day, teaching in Bloemfontein or wherever I was, and I'd listen to that. I loved that stuff. And he was sort of the first of where they would say, listen, you've got to do your quota of African stuff, you know. We live here, we don't want too much American stuff and too much stuff from wherever else.
Yeah, local.
We are here.
Yeah.
And anyway, and he was sort of like, he got a lot of that lovely Maskande and all sorts of weird dudes, man, like doing the weirdest, but beautiful things, rare things. Yeah. It was a thing of a guy who he found that his tractor, when he was plowing the fields, was like in the key of G, and then he would he'd record it and play a song with it, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, and but rare, but beautiful, you know, things that had a kind of, for me,
I love that. I love that stuff.
I got a lot of that stuff, you know, on record that you really wouldn't be able to find on cassette. I'm sorry, so I've got literally 300 or 400 cassettes.
Yeah,
so it's a lot of hours.
Okay. Yeah.
And then CDs, there's probably a couple of hundred. And those are so it's from classical all the way through to jazz. I love that idiom as well. In fact, I just saw, it was very privileged to see just night before last. Gee, now
Live here? Or
yeah, live. Yeah.
It's not the.
Oh, gee, why couldn't I think of a name?
A solo artist. Where do you see
She's
them?
a big name actually, but she's a black lady from Soweto who's
Okay.
got a big name in South Africa.
Where did you see it?
At the little venue that does jazz in Central called the One Room.
No ways.
Yeah, I've
Serious?
seen a lot of shows there. I'm a bit fan, so I'm punting them. But
Yeah.
Faye Faku, the legendary trumpet player,
Yes.
played with. It was an incredible performance. It was world class. I mean, he had Shane Cooper on the double
Shane,
bass,
of course.
Joe van der Linde's actual instrument.
Yes. Okay.
And gee, I wish I had the guy's name who plays the keyboards. He's up
Okay.
there with the best in the jazz idiom.
Okay.
And the guy on the
Not
drums.
Graham Bayo, one of those guys.
No, he's
Okay.
up there with
Okay.
the top guys.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like Andili and Nana.
Okay,
It
wow.
wasn't him, but they're
Yeah.
and who was the guy who played, not Kestian Naidu, but they're like award-winning
Wow.
guys.
And this is here in
Yeah,
Central.
it was an
Whereabouts the
in
club?
Westbourne Road. It's
Westbourne Road, okay.
Yeah, it's a little hidden spot there.
Wow.
That, and I've seen a number. There was another great artist who
Is
was
that
actually,
where Pop Shop used to be around that side?
yeah, no,
Yeah.
you know where what's his name? Who sold that the second music shop? It was on the
Winston.
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 When his
yes.
last shop was.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
sort of like a little
Okay,
bit
there. The
opposite
jewelry shop.
Winston,
Where-
opposite him, but
Okay.
but further up towards the Uptix and towards Five Ways,
Okay,
a
okay.
little bit further up. But yeah,
Okay. Towards
Um,
what was the Clevedon Road?
so what's her
towards
name? Bosman that I saw now. Why can't I think
Bosman,
of-
okay.
No, hang on. This is important. She's a big name. Where's my phone?
don't know.
No, it's just got. I've got
somebody
stage
can
fright.
put it on. Somebody can put it on the comments. Any comments of you? We'll have a look and see. if
Gloria
there's-
Bosman. I mean,
Gloria
she-
Bosman.
She's
Okay.
she's amazing.
No, that's
not young
that is big
anymore.
names. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Graham teached me in 1999. Now I dance and sing. It says
Yeah, she
Nalani
sings.
Salman.
She can rock, man.
Yeah,
can
she
sing.
does. She does,
She's-
and she does the pottery and
She
stuff
does
as well.
ceramics. She's
Beautiful.
legendary, but she's got a voice like a lark.
She has, and she's crazy. I love her. And she does the
Hey,
Karoo
Grace.
radio. She's on Karoo radio.
Yeah, Karoo Radio, yeah.
Grace, paragliding, so cool. Thank you, Grace. Yeah,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
wish I had some photos of that.
Wendy,
actually.
my dad used to fly the plane tug that took the gliders up into the air. Oh, I see. She used to
Oh,
fly
wow.
the
Okay.
thing that took the gliders up. All right. Amila Bronze says, "Hey, Chief, I like the scarf." It's happening. It's happening. Sue writes,
no.
"Oh shit," she says.
Magda.
Magda Menguzi says that, and your love for the environment and trees. Where did this come from? Where did it come from?
My dad used to plant trees as a guerrilla garden. He'd just say,
Oh,
check,
really?
I planted that tree. And he just would go and plant a tree somewhere, you know.
Is it?
And when our garden got, and we had a very little tiny backyard, a bit like my one in Richmond Hill. And that's
Okay.
top full. It's got, I've
Yeah.
got 13 indigenous trees there. I can't anymore. My sea view's gone.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, people say, where? But, damn, and cut those trees.
No, I
The
can't.
next people will, you know.
Okay.
No, yeah, I don't know. My mom was a nature junkie, so she'd
Okay.
walk around the garden and check little fireflies and the
Oh,
frogs,
okay.
and so I'm very blessed
Okay.
that was
Yeah.
sown in me as a seed of
Yeah.
importance
sure.
of the environment.
I think, would you please tell us what is inspiring for you? So, I presume that for your artworks, what does inspire you for a thing? Is it like when you write a song? It's compared
Everything,
to
you
the
know,
music, you
and
know.
I look at the stars. There's a certain pattern of them, or if I look at rocks,
Yeah.
there's a certain pattern the rocks make,
Yeah.
for example, or the way the sand on the ocean, the sand when the tide's pushing
Yes,
in, it
yes.
makes those patterns.
Yeah.
If you've got a bucket with sand in it and you kick the bucket, it makes those sand patterns.
Yeah.
I know those sort of things.
Do you like that sort of thing? So
You look
it's,
up a tree. Have you looked up a tree and you see the patterns of the branches, or
Yeah.
the patterns of the leaf, or the patterns of the bark,
Yeah.
or it's just endless.
But that's
Yeah.
clear. You got an
It's
eye for
endless.
that.
It's
Do you
endless.
think? Do you think that's built into you, or do you think that's
have too
can
many
be a
things.
can be a learned thing?
I think if you that's why I love to give kids the opportunity of
Yeah.
getting their hands in soil
Yeah.
and having a respect for that and
Yeah.
getting in touch with nature, because I think it's the key for our survival and for our own spiritual well-being, because
Yeah.
this whole thing of the cell phone thing, it's good and well, but I think it's very narrow in its not all the answers are there if you're only glued to your device.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think art none of the art that I see in the world really inspires me. I mean, okay, it's a lie.
Yeah.
There are things that do, of course.
Yes, yes, yes.
But it's not I don't feed off it. I don't even look at art.
Really?
I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
It's too much for me. It's like,
Yeah. Go on.
no, it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, there's some artists I really, especially from my formative years, you know,
Yeah.
there was a whole explosion in the 80s of the British artists.
Yeah.
That were, you know, there was an explosion after the Second World War.
Yeah.
It was sort of all the old people were, you know, pretty much they were taken out in
Yeah.
a way.
Yeah,
around the
yeah,
world.
yeah,
So
of
suddenly there
course.
was a void in a lot of positions of power and
Yes.
in the machine of the system, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So engineering and whatever,
Wow,
and
yeah.
all these things, music and language. And they were all suddenly younger people than
Yeah.
normal,
Yes. Yes.
and it was like younger politicians. They often change the thing, you know. Look
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Elon Musk. I mean, he's not a good example, maybe.
Yeah.
but
No, the
there's-
guys that changed it up.
and they also let go of this of
I'm
the
talking about,
past. They're not-
like especially those guys would have come into their own. I mean, rock and roll music. The Andy Warhols. The
Yeah,
guys,
so
you
there
know,
was an
that-
explosion in music and in
Yeah.
poetry and all things, but art
Yeah.
sort of almost lagged behind. It was so caught up in the traditional, figurative,
Yes.
formal, you know, that had been going for centuries, the form of the figure. I mean, you know what sculpture, the root of the word sculpture is, it comes from the word stasis,
Yeah.
stationary,
Yeah.
something still. I mean,
Okay.
a sculpture is a freaking still thing.
Yeah.
You almost want to wind it up so it can start
Yeah.
doing that at night, you know.
Yeah.
And it is now. Sculpture is, you know, I think it's only the beginning, you know,
Yeah.
of exploring what it means as you
Yeah.
know. I think it's kind of catching up with
Yeah.
where writing and philosophers and
Yeah.
music even, you know,
Yeah.
and a lot of other arts in a way, you know, in the last since the 80s, sort of. And there were Brits who, for me, were at the forefront of that, and Germans.
Yeah.
We were starting to use plastic and waste, and I love all that. I've been doing a lot of that in working with all the junk, you know. And,
Yeah.
yeah, so but
Because with art, I mean, with any form of art, the artists themselves always they strive to try and do something completely new, to be fresh, and even if just fresh for you, you know.
Yeah.
I think that maybe for you, what would you say? Is it the materials that you work with that inspire you like that, or
yeah, like wood, like that
Yeah.
piece of seeds there
Yeah.
reflected in the thing, and spar helping me.
it looks like a snake inside? There's a piece of rope, or
So no, I think it's just a bad image, because the image I think
Okay.
might have been joined or something. But
Oh,
actually, the interesting thing about the work, the actual sculpture, it's one length of wood.
it's
It's
one
it's
length.
one
of wood.
length of wood.
Wow,
So
it's like a vine or something.
if you could go into if we had a really nice photograph of it now, and we could
Yeah.
zoom into it. There's a
Yeah.
little spiral of wood that I used, I think, society sticks, or actually I used
Okay.
something thin, and I wet it and I bent it around like a little spiral as a metaphor for one cycle,
Okay.
which could be the cycle of life,
Yes.
from life to birth to death, or
Yeah.
the cycle of the day, or the
Yeah.
cycle of the eon. I don't know, whatever cycle means to you.
Yeah.
And then that's right in the middle of that sculpture, and it's tiny, and then it carries on the journey, much like our own journey, that
Yeah.
spiritual journey, if you will, and it
Okay,
gets
that's
slowly
great.
gets thicker, like
Okay.
life. It gets like an infant from two cells
Yeah.
when they join at fertilization. This little thing subdivides, and
Yeah.
then it develops into this little, you know, and a little baby is born.
Yeah.
So as it gets thicker and it's wandering and winding, and it's a kind of bumpy road, and it's circuitous, and you know you
Okay.
have to go there to come back again. You're like, why
Yeah.
did you go to Bloemfontein if you wanted to go to Cape Town? I mean, why?
Yeah.
Why didn't you just go straight to Cape Town?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Anyway,
thing.
and then it goes all the way around, and then on that, then it ends in a.
The tail.
It ends in a. It's actually a radical. The metaphor of a
Oh,
seed
radical. Okay.
that would then germinate for new life, and
Okay.
that sculpture, the whole outside, I burned
Yeah. Okay.
as a sign that had now died,
Yeah.
or been part of what
And then
the
that
new
little
birth.
seed is that
So that is
shape
like
that last
the
bit.
new birth, yeah.
Okay, the new birth.
Yeah.
In that side. On
Anyway,
that side.
yeah.
there.
So that one,
Yeah, that looks like a lot of work.
it's also the same thing. It's from big to small. Yeah, it's
Okay.
not really good photographs of it.
How
But,
tall was that?
about 3 meters, I think.
Wow, that is tall.
Yeah, that's owned by the Nelson Mandela Art Museum. So
Oh,
I don't know if the
Emma
Bora,
Taggart, I saw her the
Yeah.
other day.
if the Bora Beetles have got to it yet.
Oh man.
It was interesting because I was playing with a lot of sticks. I love the idea of sticks because it's such an African thing, you know, it's so
Yeah.
ubiquitous here. And also it was wattle. So
Okay.
Mr. Carton, he's from, he's so happy I took all his wattles. You know. And then the ends of those, it's quite interesting because they're all,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's another pic there, Gary, but I carved a lot of things into the ends of them, like
Oh, there we go.
the common things that like a toothpaste tube.
Oh, I see that.
So that's just the wood that's
You
carved.
carved that.
Yeah.
It looks so real as well.
Yeah, so there are lots of them. I think if I get out of the way, there's a Tippix bottle there. And
I see a Tippix bottle.
And as it goes up, if it was the size of your finger, I would have carved a finger, or if it was a matchstick, because they get thin and thin, and so that at the top it was as thin as, almost like dental floss thin. It was the tiniest sticks there that were so fragile.
That is so good.
And then the big ones at the bottom, it just got so it got smaller, like our journey of life does, maybe, or in a sense, it loses the physical to gain the spiritual, in a sense, or whatever way you want to look at it.
The rebirth thing.
Yeah.
So is that it looks like a theme for you,
that keeps on bugging me, and keeps on, and I think it does with artists.
I love that.
They sort of like, you just look at them in a different way, and then you like that big one I did is a similar kind of thing. Yeah, that one, I don't know what inspired. I mean, I grew up with water and boats, and I've always been deeply fascinated by boats.
Okay.
So that's half of the seed of that one. Are there others there of that?
What are those little things?
So that was the inside of it. So it's built like a boat.
Like proper, yeah.
But
all the braces and everything.
Yeah, and then, but also I'm playing a lot with seed pods, because I love how seeds are such a, in a little seed that you can't picture. There's a seed there. Can you see it?
Yeah.
That little seed. Now in that seed is a tree that's 8 stories high.
Yeah.
That's that around, and its flower and its own seed in that.
Yeah.
I mean, how is it possible that that little
crazy
thing, and it'll take some trees that are not even mature in 100 years. They take even 100 years to even get to maturity. Some trees,
The metaphor for everything.
I love seeds as a powerful thing for the metaphor of life's sort of perpetuity, or it's
and what you develop, something's daft, some things are created and they go huge. There we go. Some figurines.
That was done for Women's Day. And especially now with the abuse of women. So that's the story. It's called The Untold Story.
Yeah.
Actually, the title is Culprit, and it was a kind of story that I kind of invented about this young girl who was raped by possibly the farmer or whoever. I don't want to,
the guy,
somebody, and then there's a baboon there as a character, and he's doing a tango with the dog. But if you look closely, the dog's guts are hanging out, and its tongue is out, and it's dead.
Oh, okay.
So it was really about when violence is, and I'm probably speaking about myself, my own history, journey.
Yeah.
That sort of seed of violence, it comes out later, and like there's it's sort of almost the cycle to try. How do you stop that cycle? Especially in South Africa with our children that are pregnant at 10. I heard today, there's pregnancy at 12, and they're children themselves, it's dire because they can't even bring up, children. They can't even bring up themselves, and you get people that are not fit for society.
How do we heal that?
I've got to change the subject. I want to talk about how sheep love to be under a tree.
I've got phones going off. Yeah, said we must switch off phones, and then I didn't turn mine off.
It's good. It's distracting. It's good. I need it.
No, so this links most me was skaap day.
Ja, dis die skaapie onder die boompie.
Boompie.
Actually, it's about. There was a series I did of all the animals we eat.
Yeah.
So commonly, so that was. I did portraits of all the animals. So there's all the sheep, chicken, goat, cow, horse, pig.
The common
rabbit.
edibles.
Yeah, all the way.
There's a chicken.
So there's a chicken. That was still in process. So that's a freezer glove for its because they put them in the freezers. They lived in a cage and then into the freezer.
Oh my word! So you put the glove on.
I used the glove as its comb, just for a bit of quirk,
Yes.
What's
that?
Well, that's a very different one. That was really the story of my mom's passing. My mom's place in my life was quite big.
Okay.
And I looked after her quite a lot in the last quite a few years, and she was blind for the last about year and a half, 2 years. So it was tough, and I wanted to go paragliding or jolting.
Yeah.
But if I had that again, I'd do it again. So it was really like dealing with that, That exit, I called it exit entry, because for me, you exit one thing, you enter another. So
there's your rebirth again.
That was it.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
it's a recurring
Yeah.
spotted, well spotted. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was that thing. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
young,
that
that's
looks- yeah.
hard. That's a hard sculpture. That's
Sure.
that's difficult territory. That it's
Yeah.
but it's I think more people should know about that story. It's about
What
this
is that?
Xhosa chief.
Yeah.
He was a very eminent chief as well, and had
Yeah,
made
just-
in our Eastern
Like I
Cape.
say.
Yeah,
Yes.
but more
What
up
was
the
his name?
coast, up the Fish River, Hinsa.
Hinsa. Yes.
Yeah,
I've
so-
heard the Hinsa story as
And
well.
he was quite brutally murdered, and the whole story of his
Yes.
demise was actually a very brutal colonial affair that I'm really not proud of. You know,
Yeah.
that we are part of that sort of colonial machine in a way.
Yeah.
So I wanted to interpret that story. It's pretty on close-ups of it. I don't know if there's another one there of it. There's a lovely scene of
Yeah.
old Hinsa himself.
Yeah.
He's in the afterlife under the bridge.
Under the bridge. There,
Is there one there of it?
Is that him there?
And that's actually the guy on top who was.
Okay.
What was his name, Lord? What was his name?
Kitchener?
No.
Yeah.
He made him.
Cathcart.
He made him spit and polish his shoes and kiss his shoes and stuff like that.
Oh
And all
my
kinds of,
word!
it was
Really
horrible.
terrible.
And is there one of him on the ox there? They actually used to ride the oxen
Okay.
traditionally
Okay. Really?
and have races.
Jeez. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, and he's in the afterlife there.
Yeah.
Going
Oh, is that
along
what it is?
with a hard on, like as best as you can be, you know.
Yeah.
But in the afterlife, you know,
Yes.
riding the oxen.
Okay.
So,
Oh man.
yeah, so that was the kind of story of Hinsa.
She was.
Yeah,
and it wasn't his skull or his head went somewhere to
That's
get
right.
it, bring it back again.
That's right. They cut it up and they took out the teeth and they took off his ear and they took his
Yeah.
skull, his head, and
Yeah, I remember. I
yeah,
remember
it
the
was horrible.
story.
It's horrible. We need to learn about that
Yeah,
more and
yeah.
expose it, just so that we sort of level the playing fields.
Yes,
And
yeah. See what really happened.
Go
there.
back one. That was
Yeah.
was the sheep. So that's the portrait of the sheep. It's sort of a play on the one where the
Oh, there's this little tree underneath there.
yeah. There's a
okay,
tree
that's where the
and-
tree is.
and
Okay.
There's a
and
sheep up
at the
top there.
Okay.
It's a play on those what do they call the one you buy in the township when you buy the
Oh yeah. The
Half of
smiley.
it, the smiley, yeah,
The smiley. Oh
Yeah.
man, look at that.
it's got
Yes.
flip flop ears and
I
stuff like that. So
see,
you
yes.
sort of found things. I don't know if there's another one there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Gee whiz.
So yeah, that was a fun project with all the animals. So
Okay.
there was the pig.
I see vark, yeah.
That was the one that started it actually.
Ja.
Last year
Zet
was
the
Scarpy,
Scarpie alweer, ja.
and he's just under the
Excellent.
boompie there getting shade. He's been eating.
Gee
You know
whiz.
they eat the bottom of the tree. They make it level.
Yeah.
I quite like the way they do that.
And so, sometimes you go for a smooth kind of thing, you inflict like a rough kind of feel.
I
for
love
that,
the
you know.
rough because I mean
Okay,
it's rough out there. It's rough out
Chiseling
there.
out,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
rough out
okay.
there. Yeah, so I love the rough.
Because I mean, like
I-
that toothpaste was just so beautifully
No, there are a lot of things. I mean, not
sculpted,
on this show, but there are a lot of things that are very
Yeah.
polished and that
polished
you know,
and
you take
clean
your
and
time.
everything. But you like a bit of the.
Well, I think it's
Yeah.
rough out there. I've had a
It
few
is.
bumps. You know,
Yeah.
I've had rough a lot in my life. So
Yeah.
I remember when a surfboard took me out here. And,
Oh.
you know, like yeah, I guess, but you had the
Yeah.
you know, so I felt
Yeah.
rough. So
Yeah.
I just express it. You know,
Daar's die hoender.
that's the hoender. Yeah,
Ja.
with
And
the antibiotics. So that you-
antibiotics for the hoender.
Yeah.
Because that's what they give
We
to
give a
make
lot of
it
them.
bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, gee whiz.
Anyway, so yeah.
Here we go.
It's a fun
And that's
project.
is that a rhino?
No, it's a little pig on
A little
the,
pig- a
on,
little
on
pig
the
on the-
pig. So it's like whispering into the
Okay.
pig's ear, like its last sort of
Do it.
as it dies, it's whispering
Oh, okay.
the next step in life. So
Wow.
there's the lamb chop,
Yeah, look at that on the other side.
the smiley.
Okay.
Making the
That-
smiley, yeah.
What's going on over here? It's
Or was it burning
flames.
it? So it was carved in wood and then I burnt it.
Oh wow! So you've done that. Seems to be quite a lot as
Yeah,
well.
the
you like
fire,
that burning.
that one with the spiral, I burnt that whole thing as well.
Yeah, yeah.
There's actually a lovely pic somewhere of it burning,
Okay.
but I don't know where that is. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it looks so real as well.
Ja, oor die figure, jong. Ek weet nie van die figure. Maar ja, die
It's
figure.
got an attitude. That
Actually, that's funny that's what it's called.
attitude.
It's called attitude. Because I did one called gratitude, which was really about exactly that. And then I thought I got to make one with a bit of an
That's
attitude.
attitude for sure.
Yeah.
The OK Bazaar's bra vibes as well.
Unfortunately, I never made a mold of it, so it was a unique one. It went off to London long ago, but
Okay.
I wish I'd have made a mold of it and had made millions of them. You know,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
10 of them.
10 of them. Number 1, 2, 3, and one for your friend.
So I was saying earlier on, I'm quite a divided soul.
Yeah.
My vision of the world, my stance on even sometimes I'm conflicted
Yeah.
about stuff, you know, and
Yeah.
even my own production. Actually, a lot of this figurative stuff, some people don't know about it. Others
Yeah.
don't know about the other stuff, the gory sort of other sculptures that I make.
Yeah.
People don't know about this because they're,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so like I'm just sort of
In
I
between
dance
that.
around between,
Yes.
you know. But yeah, and they're part of me, so I do
course.
them. And I trained in that sort of stuff, you know, that
Okay.
was the formal grounding I had. We did all that sort of stuff. We had models
Okay.
posing for us, and,
Yeah.
and you had to like
Yeah.
whip up an armature, welding it and measuring, and then you got the clay, and you're working the figure, then you're looking at the model, and you get it to turn, and you know, I can do all that stuff, you know, it's sort of like
Bronze and
Yeah.
metals and stuff like that as
Yeah,
well. You
yeah.
also do that. So
they're
I mean,
bronze.
that was Phil Colby was also big
Yeah.
sculptures like that
Yes,
as well.
yes.
Big metal things.
Yes.
And Anton Momberg, I love that. I think
Yeah.
the Donkin that he did
Beautiful.
with the woman in the chair.
Beautiful, beautiful.
It's just
Yeah,
stunning
no,
stuff.
beautiful,
Anthony
beautiful.
Harris is, with the voting line. I was there
Yeah,
the other day.
yeah.
All
Stunning,
those,
yeah.
all those things. Was Duncan Stewart was there as
Yes.
well with the wave
Yes.
down in the Donkin. And
Yeah.
if you've never been to the Donkin, there's some
Yeah,
amazing
Dollar
sculptures.
Cepeda's got a lovely piece there.
Yes,
Yeah.
Dollar as well. Yeah,
Mm.
beautiful.
I actually was supposed to have a piece made for that. Funny enough, my piece was submitted, and then Anton won that sculpture.
Oh, wow,
And
did
then my
you?
piece, then they said they want to make it anyway.
Okay.
So it was like this big ball.
Yeah.
Remember that one that I set on fire with all the sticks?
Yes.
It was this sphere.
Yeah.
It's actually, I've had people, even recently, they were pushing to get it made again.
Okay.
For some, you know, maybe
Yeah.
they were talking about the union or some union, but
Yeah.
basically it was all made from implements. So you picture those tumble seeds, it's all
Yes.
these things that radiate from a point.
Yes.
But in this case, I crossed them over. So imagine if you've got 20 sticks and you make a
Yeah.
ball out of them.
Okay.
But they were made from implements.
Okay.
From spades
Spades and
to picks
picks and
to
things. So it's quite big,
shovels to big 3 meter
big,
sort of,
wow.
which I wanted to do in steel.
Good lordy. Okay.
And then they did want to do it, and then
Okay.
I can't remember what happened there. Somebody took that funding, and then
Right.
then it was around about the time I fell ill, and then it all
Okay.
just, and I didn't pursue it, and so
Yeah.
whatever. But
That
that was one of the ones. That was one of the ones with the wind. There were a lot of those wind ones.
Oh
where
yes, with the hair, the wind.
Yeah,
So that's beautiful.
I did a bunch of those. It's like an ongoing
Really
thing. Whenever.
And the big what is that? Is that a piece of?
That's just the stand that it's on, really.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
It's quite cool. And
That's
that-
back to that horse again.
Yes,
That was
the-
the animals we eat. So from
Okay, so the horse, because
we're jumping around a lot.
Yeah,
but,
because the horse. You were saying. I mean, we didn't discuss it on air, but you were saying that the horse meat was fair game in the
during
Boer
the
War.
War, and actually
Yeah.
outside of that, it's not uncommon if you dig around. Yeah,
And PE
so-
was the horse capital. I mean,
yeah, they brought
all
them
the
in
horses
here.
came
So
through here.
if you look at that one, stop there.
Yeah.
I don't know if things on if you can pause it, but there's
Yeah.
the Brit and the Boer,
Yes.
the soldiers. Okay, that was cast in bronze, so that's in a collection now at the National Gallery
Okay.
in Kimberley. But
Okay.
and in there is the miners. So that's really about, you know,
The miner
horses.
inside the.
It was
inside
really
the
about the fight over gold, which was the thing
Yeah.
that started the Boer
Yeah,
War.
of course.
So in there, the mine and the diamonds and the
and
gold, and that horse. If you looked at the previous image,
Yeah.
I did braille on
There
the
we go. Yes, I see
on
there.
that said
It's in
something.
Braille. Okay.
And there's a little poem about our very destructive habit as plunderers. It's
Yes.
called the plunderers. You know,
Okay. Okay.
whip cracking,
Yes.
gunslinging, whatever we were, you know, at the time, you know.
Yeah.
You know, thinking about deforestation, because it's quite a thing of mine. I actually had a photograph on my phone how, in the very recent time, how forests in Europe and all over the world have gone literally in the blink of an eye. Vast forests. And it's happening now at a rate you'd scare yourself. If you look at it, I was looking the other day, it's like 3 times the size of Greater New York. And I'm not talking about
Yeah.
New York City, I'm talking
Yeah.
about Greater New York. 3 of those in a month
Hey.
are gone on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
I don't know, I get mixed
Yeah.
up with numbers, but it's like,
Yeah.
and we all sit in our armchairs and we've got our beer and
I
it's,
know.
you know, but it's,
I know.
it's,
It's
it's,
just
it's frightening.
In the end, it's just going to kill the humans.
now with,
Yeah.
with especially with the desire for grazing and for agriculture and for
Yeah.
industry and for, you know, apart from just harvesting trees,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so
Oh, that's interesting. The horse's head there.
where
Really.
I see Scarpy, but no,
The
it's
scarp
just,
over here. Okay, that's a closer one of the sheep. Eh?
he's smiley.
Okay, and that, wow.
So that was sort of when the stuff that happened to me at boarding school, that was really
Yeah.
traumatic for me,
Okay.
started. and nothing that I was aware of. It was like a subconscious sort of thing. I didn't even think it was really worth it. Somebody said, "Hey, but that's nice. You must do that thing." I said, "Oh, I was just playing with this idea." And so it was actually quite a powerful. In the end, it was quite a powerful, and still for me, it's still a powerful image. You know.
Jeez, gee was
as a sculptor.
striking, eh?
Yeah. So.
Holy moly. Dit is ingenieurskap.
O, jong, dit was al.
Wat is daai nou?
Ja, dit
Dis 'n masjien daai.
Ja, dis the guts of the coelacanth. It's a bionic one.
Wow,
I
look
actually
at
went to
that.
the hospital and I asked them for all their implements if they had any, and I badgered them for quite a bit. And eventually, this guy said, "Get out of my hair. Here's a box for you. It's all old. You know, these things to open here and to open there and to open there, to cut there, to saw there."
So just okay,
First,
Jesus.
put them in anesthetic.
Proper, brandewyn.
So I used a lot of them in that sculpture, which was quite fun.
Okay, wow.
It was quite a thing. That half a ton of cast iron.
You say that, did you grow up in Knysna? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, so where were you born?
Okay, I was born in, I'm an Artie, I'm an Uitlander.
Uitlander.
I'm exotic, I'm not even supposed to be
What's
here.
Wales?
I was born in Zimbabwe.
Zimba, okay.
Yeah, but
okay.
where my dad was practicing in mining engineering.
Okay.
My mom was from here and she went there, and then my dad retired when I was 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So he had you late.
Yes.
Yeah, he was an old
And
man.
he retired early. He retired.
Okay.
He wanted to retire when he was 50. He'd made a decision. Apparently, when he was courting my mother, he said, "No, I'm retiring at 50.
Good Lord.
She must have been seduced enough to say yes, because after it was a big fight for years. You still got these kids are still got to go to school. Why do you not get it? She's sewing clothes and cutting cloths. You know, I mean, cutting down the cloth on this. And
My word. So tell us about the coelacanth. Obviously, because you were in Knysna, that probably had a big thing in your life as well.
I remember there was a place in Featherbed, and there was this rumor that old what was his name,
JLB Smith.
He had seen a groot octopus there, and its eyes were as big as a saucer.
Yeah,
Because that, you know, my dad used to tell us as the kids, and we were like,
Whoa!
oh, once, and you were always looking out for these eyes, you know, like, shit yourself. You know, imagine these eyes came and then a tentacle come and grab you
God, no.
off the boat. But
God.
it was sort of half, you know, you had the security of your dad in a little boat, you know. It was wonderful, actually. Yeah. And then as you grew older, you knew that,
Yeah, bollocks.
bollocks.
But it's a good story, though.
Yeah.
And
So that was the maquette for the bigger one.
Was it made? What was it made of?
Cast iron.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can see the drawing in the back where was this cage I did, which was the support of the final one, which is in, you can see the date there, 2007. Was done in, it was installed in East London. It was supposed to be on Latimer's Landing, for Courtney Latimer. And then at the last minute, you know, it was site specific.
Yeah.
So I went there and I checked out, and before, you know, when I was designing and thinking through this whole thing, then they moved it at the last minute, so it was really like, they literally pulled the carpet from under me, and I was still wasn't paid.
Yeah.
I got nothing for it.
Oh, man.
In fact, a friend of mine said, come, let's go, and I've got jackhammers, I've got a team of guys, we've got scaffolding, we've got everything, we'll lift that thing out of there, we'll bring it back, and then they must pay you what they owe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt bitter for a long time, but it's gone, you know. And
is it still there, still displayed there?
it's one of the few, because quite a few of those sculptures, they were done for the Sunday Times heritage, 100 years of the heritage of South Africa, the Sunday Times. So they chose iconic kind of, well, not iconic, that sounds a bit too big, but events of South African history. So Athol Fugard was honoured here. There's a sculpture that Mark Wilby did here in St. George's Park, beautiful thing of the kite.
Okay.
There's one in, what's that junction there in New Brighton.
Yeah.
In Doringhen's Square, sorry. Sorry, I'm being embarrassed. Zanus, forgive me. Dollar, just forgive me for forgetting those things. The stage frights, these bright lights. And anyway, there were a couple dotted about. So
Vasily Mini Square is the main one.
Yeah,
That's
that
the main
one.
But,
So there was a
but
mosaic
But
there.
there's one in Brighton.
There were various artworks that really acknowledge mainly people or poets or.
Just the MBDA that did that stuff as well.
No, that was separate stuff like the Donkin. That was all MBDA. But the Sunday Times sponsored those.
Okay, those
and there were 40 done, I think, nationally. So they try to allocate sort of 10 per region, sort of Eastern Cape 10. Yeah. So there was one, a couple in East London. Anton did Bishop Tutu's beautiful portrait like that. That's long gone.
Sure. It gets stolen or something. Or
it's just vandalized.
Vandalized.
What? Praat van die kerk. You know,
Yeah.
some drunkard comes along there. I mean,
Smacks it or
the arch
something.
was my hero. You know, I
Yeah.
loved hearing him talking. You know, he's always
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
balanced about where
Was
we were
it?
trying to go in South Africa with
Was
all the
maybe.
troubles we had, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, and so, what is
Yeah.
his name? Just
The
name's
other-
on the tip of my tongue. And his piece, it was in
Yeah.
a storeroom when I last saw it somewhere. And
Already.
this one's, I don't know who was.
Yeah.
I know Brenda Fossey was one for her.
Yeah.
I think that's still going in
Okay,
Soweto
okay.
somewhere. So yeah, anyway.
Sure. This what's going on here? What Shoreline then?
Oh, there I
It
did
looks
that.
like a cement thing.
Yeah, that I did that with a bunch of young artists. So they did
Okay.
it.
Oh, right.
Basically, I just guided them.
Bit of
And so-
masonry going on. Wow. Is that,
So we
is that
built they built a little miniature out of plaster Paris in a workshop, and then I chose the nicest one, and then we changed it. We got a bit of each one sort of element, and then,
Yeah.
so that was the final we did.
Okay.
And then we built it in stainless steel and a frame, and then we covered it in
Cement.
yeah, and then we hoiked it up. It's at Sydenham Primary School actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So those were that coelacanth thing for Courtney Latimer.
Okay. Yes, because she was the one that you were saying was she's kind of unrecognized as.
So
as
it was acknowledging her
okay.
as a sort of unknown. If
Yeah.
you talk to people out there, have you heard of Courtney Latimer? No,
Yeah.
who's she?
I know
So she
Latimer's
worked at-
Landing. That's
she
what
worked
I.
at- yeah, there's a pub there. She worked
Yes.
at the museum, and she actually, even in her notes, she identified that it was a creature that shouldn't have been here, which is very unusual. So she
Yes.
stepped out.
She knew.
So she earns this
She
acknowledgement.
knew. She knew. She
She
called
earned
those
it.
oaks in.
She acknowledged.
And they
yeah,
claimed everything, the
I did
bastards.
this. They did a cut job of it with the laser cutting.
Okay.
It basically was supposed to be a net, which it looks like a net from a distance, but they're
Okay.
all net is sort of like, but they're all figures when you look close.
Yeah. Okay.
So it
yeah,
was
yeah.
a net of humanity that could maybe, because the coelacanths are still around,
Yes.
only just.
Yeah.
You know, if you
yeah,
look,
Sure.
go online, you see they catch 1 or 2 a year.
Really.
Yep.
Still, eh?
So,
Yo.
and they're long lived. They've got a gestation period. It's much like humans. They've got
Yeah.
like a 9-month gestation period. They live about 100 years.
Jeez, like.
They've got a lot of parallels.
Yeah.
You know, they take a long time to mature. Blah blah blah.
Okay.
They get quite big. You know, and
Yeah.
what. And they're deep. But they're also very vulnerable.
You've got links.
They're very vulnerable.
Yeah,
They're,
sure,
they're at a
sure.
point now where they could go.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was also my little way of saying, come on, let's just
Yeah.
be aware of that. You know.
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah.
for sure.
Anyway. O jong, dit
Here
is
we
van
go.
dit is van studentenjare.
Yes, so yeah, I like that. Do you look back at your at works and think, you know?
No, I was proud of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
this it is beautiful.
I mean, there's polish, you know. I polished
Yeah?
the hell out of things
Is
then,
it?
you know. And so I got the polishing out of me, you know.
Okay.
No, you could see yourself in that thing even, you know.
Yeah.
Ek het geskeer in die ding op en neer, jong. Dis klaar.
But I mean, you're learning. I mean,
No, I'll get back into the polishing. You know, these cycles come and go. You know,
yeah,
mos-
yeah.
when I
It's
shave
beautiful. I
again.
like a bit of polish myself.
Yeah, I mean,
do.
don't look at my, yeah.
What's going on? There's another one with the hair,
wind,
the
yeah,
wind and the
windy girl,
hair,
yeah.
and the dress coming up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, that's also
That I've seen before.
the
Yes.
cast iron thing
Yeah,
on a wheel that turns around. If you have it in your garden, then you can move it, and this figure will spin. But yeah, it's more of a gimmick. But yeah,
Yeah, it's quite fun.
it all eventually went that dark color, the patina of iron.
Okay, yes.
But hy lê nog daar.
As jy waar sy
Niemand
was
wil
daar
hom
hier.
koop nie.
Dis 'n
It's in my
motorraai.
garden. So that's
like a
they're
bit of
quite
cars.
sort of not recent, but I don't know if you know about that exhibition that's on at the moment at the
No,
Nelson
tell us.
Mandela.
Tell us. At the
Nelson Mandela Metro Art.
In the Nelson Mandela.
Yeah,
So King
yeah.
George VI, but it's
Ooh, they'll whip
not
you
so
and
much.
put feathers on you with power.
Emma's gonna whip my ass.
So when I phoned them, they said Nelson Mandela Metro Art Museum. I said, sorry, what?
Nelson Mandela might not open the museum.
Oh, sorry, no, I didn't hear. And then
Excellent.
eventually you said, no, I'm teasing you, because
Okay, yeah,
it's a
yeah.
really silly long
No,
acronym.
no.
Can't they make it Munka or Monks or Mums like they have in...
Menu.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
that's
that is one of the pieces. It's a duet of these old toys from my. They actually were mine.
Really?
This truck
yeah.
and this crane, which is actually they bought it for their
Okay.
permanent collection, which I
Oh,
felt very
lovely.
honoured about.
Yes. That
Yeah.
well, you've made it if the gallery buys your stuff if
made
the,
it, schmade it. What is made it?
the municipal gallery is buying your stuff, absolutely. Oh, that's amazing. I mean, yes, you never, as an artist, I suppose you never feel that you're finished. But
I mean, just beginning.
yeah.
Hopefully, I've still got crush.
yeah,
in his
that's
hand.
it. You're going and you grow all the time. So
I'm gonna make up
your
all the
dying
things.
day, you'll be doing the last one, going for
Yeah.
it. For sure. That looks interesting as well. What's going on?
Yeah, so that's it's a piece I did called The Load. So it was really a play on all. I've been fascinated by when you buy, for example, batteries. Explain to me when you buy batteries now.
Yeah.
You've gone to buy batteries now, or a padlock. It comes in this see-through plastic,
Yes.
or scissors even.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
in the see-through
You're
plastic.
trying to open this.
And
thing.
how do you try to open it?
Yes, like-
Imagine your granny trying to open it.
Yeah.
And she wants scissors to open it, but she hasn't. That's why she's bought scissors. She can't use a carving knife because she cut herself. She's trying to open this thing.
You always do. You
How
cut
does she
yourself
do
with
it? I
Plastic.
mean, and it's so
It's
tough.
so hectic.
Anyway, they're all actually beautiful molds. So,
Yeah.
and they
Okay.
sort of got this. I don't know if there's another image of it there, but
Yeah.
there's actually lots of them because I did.
Oh, you
I've-
use the molds to do those.
I've used them in paintings and various things. It's like a newer series I did, but I ran out of energy, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, oh, good, yeah, we're jumping. But
Yeah.
so it was really a play on how, basically in the blink of the eye, with
Yeah.
most of the population in South Africa, the material age is upon them.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
like
Yeah.
not even 30 years ago, especially the plastic age, because that's where I'm really poking at that.
Okay.
The age of plastic.
Plastic. Yeah.
It's sort of now, it dominates their well-being, you know. So
Yeah.
it's what they want to buy, what they want to get, what
Yeah.
they want to own, what they want to have, what they want to eat, you know. And it's like freaking crazy, and they lost touch with the very land that they're very part of, you know,
Yeah.
right in front of our nose, you know. And so I'm sort of poking fun. So I call it a load.
Okay.
So it's like a load,
Load
but
your
it's actually
head.
not a good load, you know. It's
Yeah.
you know. Anyway, yeah,
It's bumpy and.
that's in
green.
America. They took a bunch of work from PE artists and some very nice stuff
Yeah.
that was.
Is it in the States then?
Yeah, and it went on a
Wow.
on a tour there,
Okay.
and then it's coming back if they don't buy it, which I'm sure they won't.
Do you get commissioned?
No,
commissions.
not
or
a lot.
anything?
No,
Just
no.
bits and pieces.
Very few, but I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Do you market yourself enough then?
No, it's been a Facebook.
Yeah, there we go. Well, this is gonna be on your Facebooks now that people can see. So
They'll
if they
probably
need
like-
a commission
Tomorrow they'll
yeah.
get 3 phone calls. They said, "No, I'm busy at the moment."
Here's I mean what I think you know you're always using organic stuff and is that your
Yeah, it's you need another image of that too, because
Yeah.
you know, sculpture is a thing that you got to see it from different angles.
Yeah.
So, but I did the
Yes.
series on the elephant. They were trying to
okay.
raise money for Addo.
oh wow okay
So we went there, and I was fascinated by, you know, I'm always fascinated, but
Yes.
just I remember one of the things that fascinated me was the track of the elephant,
yeah
how big that track is,
Yes.
and how gently they walk, but how far they were apart. It's like I couldn't actually get to, and they're just walking, you know, they weren't running. It's like,
just walking.
how is it that they can have, you know, it was beautiful, and I was so desperate to do something with that,
Yes.
like make a print, but I didn't
Yeah.
want to do it so obviously, but I landed up doing these 3.
Okay.
So that, as you can see, it's
Those
back,
pens.
they're pens.
Pens sticking out. Is that a fountain pen?
Yeah, fun thing. So
Jeez.
that one is so there are 3. That was the other elephants.
There's
The
other one
elephants
there.
in
Okay.
India, how they raised it to play on how they. So I wish I could remember the
It's a
title
decorative
of that.
stuff you mean.
You know those
Yeah,
they
Indian
become
elephants.
they become pets.
Yes.
But they're all broken. I don't know if you know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So the
Yeah,
title
so
is
they break those elephants.
they break them
totally.
from a little one they catch. They don't
Yeah.
breed them ever.
Yeah, okay.
So the village, they'll have it in a pit, and they can't escape, and
Wow.
it cries for like a week. Cries,
Yeah,
tears, you can see, and they freaking break them.
yeah.
They break that spirit,
So that they can have them as pets.
and then they've got control of it. You know,
Yeah,
then it will
yeah.
not hurt them ever because it's got
Okay,
fear for the
okay.
rest of its life. It's just like a dog that's been murdered. It'll always
Yeah.
go like that whenever you raise the stick.
Ay.
So
That's
I called
crazy.
it Ankus, which was the title, which is that thing they use. It's like a spike or a
Ankus,
point. There's
okay.
riders on the elephant.
Yes, yes.
They just reminded that
Yeah.
turn right.
Okay.
'Cause they've got a thick skin, but they
Yeah.
and they were the great machine of the Indian Raj under the British
Yeah,
for moving logs and
Yeah.
the
Working
colonial machine to
your
strip it of the forests. And I mean, they took it to the next level. It was really,
Yeah.
they really exploited that
Yeah.
tradition of the elephant.
and the ladle.
And
the-
so
the-
and the sugar mills that
Su-
they
as a
were
sugar.
Yeah, it's a sugar spoon. So I was
A
playing
sugar
all of that
spoon,
stuff,
of course,
and
yes,
the
yeah.
decorasi. They did beautiful decorations on their skins with
Yeah.
painting.
Yes,
But,
yes.
yeah.
And it was very decorative Indian stuff.
They're
eh?
beautiful when you see them.
Yeah,
Always
that's
wanted-
that looks like that's a butt
it's a
going
butt.
on there, and the
Yeah,
shoe.
Not a
and
very
the-
good photograph, but it's a butt.
Gee whiz,
But,
that's great.
yeah, so it's got these. It was when LEDs were new, so I was playing with gimmick, and I hate
Okay.
gimmick, but
Yeah.
at the time, so and actually, if you stood or actually that way. I've got it
Yeah.
in the middle. The light described a perfect heart shape. It's a bit like our male thing for a butt, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It just said it was straight away gets our thing going.
Yeah.
And if you've got a button for even an old man, he's going to go. If you
nice
filmed guys and you set up a candid camera, if you did that as your show,
Yeah.
and you just had ladies walking past with exposed butts, and you just filmed the guy's eyes.
Oh, you can't stop.
It's something written in the DNA. Or something,
It is.
you know?
It is.
And myself too, you know. I mean, I love a healthy butt. You know? Yeah, so I played with it, and also it speaks about my own
Yeah.
story with
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes, yes.
next one.
And then that's, yeah, there we go. There's a little something on the top there.
Yeah.
Huh? Something going on there, on the top there. I like that. Here we
I
go.
got it out of me. I
You
could vent
did,
it.
you did.
I vented it.
Good. That's
So that was also a cedar camp. But long
again.
ago I did that. Just playing on that because I was fascinated by this creature that had been around. I mean, they were supposed to be extinct.
Yeah, yeah,
Their fossil records, they were around 80 million years ago.
yeah.
I mean, and then they died.
Yeah.
They actually did.
Amazing.
They wiped out with the dinosaurs with
Yeah.
that, you know, that event. that
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
The impact crater.
Impact, yeah.
In Yucatan.
Yes.
But there were a couple that survived, enough for them to still be alive. But they live, you know, they're ancient things. They still
Yeah.
live in that ancient, you know,
Yeah.
they don't know what a diet
Yeah.
is. You go there, they're just not.
They're very, very conservative.
Hello, guy.
Yes.
What ticks with you? Like,
Yes, yeah.
oh, wow, they're very slow. You know?
Yes, very slow.
Maybe a black and white television.
Yes, black and white television in those days. He's right, he's right.
Yeah.
But I think we've got time for one or two more. Let's have a quick look here. This is a little Ellie.
I don't know why it landed up here.
Is that your seed?
No, I made for a Christmas dinner. I made for. I think there were 10 people at dinner, and I made 10 little animals.
Yeah, this is artist for you. I just know
That-
you're
in
gonna
a
go
cracker.
to in the
And
cracker.
so instead of because my mom used to buy these crackers as a kid, and I think
Yeah.
as my dad not working from already when I was 4, by the
used to
time
make your own.
I was 10, you couldn't buy expensive crackers. So my dad, and then you opened first the bang didn't go off, and then the whistle that was inside the cracker didn't whistle.
Never. They were shitty things. Yeah.
Or whatever, the toy fell apart.
Yeah.
So my mom said, "Don't
Like
stuff
a
this."
plastic.
You couldn't buy. They couldn't afford Harrods,
Yeah.
imported crackers. you know,
Yes.
like
No.
that.
And then you'd get
So
that in the
my
Harrods
mom
crackers.
decided to just make little gifts. Actually, she bought little things like a nail brush, useful little things.
Cajita, yeah.
And so that was a theme. And then I did when I was looking for my mom, I did a Christmas, and I decided I want to keep her tradition, and I made little
Yeah.
things.
Yes.
And I made little animals in clay, and people loved them. It was all the family and all that.
Yeah, for sure.
Then I got them to, instead of those lame things that sometimes go off, bang,
Yeah.
when you pull the cracker.
Yeah.
Picture now me doing
Yeah.
it, gah!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's allowed.
Yeah, yeah.
So with these, what I've done is I say on the count of 3, it never really works, but then you've got to clap as you open the little gift. So they're all in little matchboxes. Those are all in matchboxes. So on the count of 3, each person, as you go around the table,
wow.
1, 2, 3, and the whole table clap as they open the gift.
Ah, classic.
Just to make up for the bang.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
And then you smell the sulfur and all of that,
Lovely.
And then they open, and there's a little surprise. whatever.
Oh, cool. That's brilliant. I'd like to go to a Christmas dinner at the Joneses. That's fantastic. Graham, thank you so much for coming on. I know we didn't get through all the work. We'll never get through all the works. It's too many. But it's been good getting to know you.
Yeah, lots of fun.
And I know we always ask our guests a time when something's gone completely wrong. When something's gone, like it was always your most embarrassing moment, or you think, but we've spoken about that. But something where the world's conspired against you. I always think that musicians, us musicians, always have those moments. And I don't know if there's been a moment with that, and then also your proudest moment as well.
I don't know. I mean, when my own car.
Yes.
Because I was thinking, actually,
Yeah.
I need to. My car's 20, but that was last year, so my
Yeah.
car was 21 years old.
Yeah.
We're 22 now, hey?
Yeah.
So it keeps it for
Yeah.
years. So
Okay,
my
okay.
car's 2000 model.
Yeah.
So, I kind of get, even going, I must get another car because it's got no ABS and
Yeah.
slide control and
Yes.
what's those things that blow up in your face?
Yeah,
Nothing. It's the bottom
it's
of
just
the
got
range.
seatbelts. That's the
It's
only
just a
thing.
car, but it goes like
Yeah.
a bomb. And I couldn't not lie.
Yeah.
So sometimes I got to go to Joburg or Cape Town, and the last time I went had a drama.
Yeah.
And I thought, maybe so I think my car heard me, skinnering about it. So one day last year, the handbrake was screaming.
Yeah.
And it had been doing it a while. But on that day, I took my car to the driveway. Gary was so my driveway is quite steep. It's a slope like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Opened the garage door, took my car, handbrake going, yeah!
Yeah.
Thinking, it's just the last, it's the last straw. I get on my phone, how to fix a noisy handbrake. Because I heard these things with soap and
Google.
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, Google.
Okay.
And I didn't do the handbrake properly because I'm so like Google going.
Yeah. Okay.
So I get out the car, I wander down to close the garage door, and just next thing it's like, when a wave comes at you when you've got your back to the surf.
Yes. Yes.
And you're actually concentrating on a baby in a bikini or something silly, and then this wave claps you and takes you along.
Oh, my soul.
It was sort of like that, but it was all quite, it didn't hurt. It was sort of like gentle, because I think the car was coming.
You.
But within seconds, I don't know, it just changed. And I was on because my knees I'm still battling with my knees. I had to actually go and I thought I had to need a surgery, because I had cortisone hoid in here, and it's been a drama,
So you can't.
But I went moving along, and then actually, how I didn't go under it is the thing, because it pushed me down the driveway in front of it. How I didn't go under it is incredible, because my feet, if you think a car coming, must have been so near any wheels. I was basically in line with the driver when I sort of not came to, but the dust settles, and it was a violent kind of hit, because I've got a barrier there, because I get skulpbaie dan. Moenie sê vir die natuurbewaring. Waar is jou permit? Maar ons dag gebore.
Yeah.
Wel nie maar nie, maar.
She was saying you ran over.
I extricated myself, I'm thinking, hey, I'm still alive. Everything, I was hoping that, it was so fast and so scary. But when I played it back, and I think about how lucky I am that I wasn't crushed and died.
Into a wall or
because,
something.
Or no, that if the car went over me, imagine that car going over your body. I mean, there's the power down that driveway. It slammed into those wood. I've got all these sleepers there that stop it, because the tortoises, they want to go into the road. So I've got a barrier there. And it just slammed into those. And the wheels actually turned so sharp. It would the whole. I thought the steering was buggered, actually. It was like, no, it was scary. And I just, and there was nobody around. My garage was wide open, because I was going somewhere.
Okay.
So I didn't actually go anywhere that day, because I was just stuck there.
Yeah, because you've been shocked.
Nobody even knew about it. My neighbour wasn't there. The other neighbour didn't know.
Would have been all alone. You could have been there for days.
Well, that's it. If it went over me and pinned me down, if it on my rib cage, and I was like,
how are you going to get there?
I might have, help, and my phone, I could hear it going on there. Google,
Yeah.
Trying to find the Google, the how do you fix your radiator going on.
No,
it was still chirping,
still going.
Oh, it was freaky.
No, that is freaky. It makes me give you the chills. Actually, thinking about it.
It was very lucky. I was black and blue here, and I was actually quite grazed.
See the Herald thing, eminent artist, eminent sculptor, dead for a week before anybody knows he's gone. My word, Graham, it could have been hectic. And you're proud. Let's end with the proudest moment. What do you reckon? Up until now, you've still got your good life to live, so you've still got some highlights coming. But what would you say?
It wasn't ever like where I could phone family and say I've been the dad, for the first time.
No, but that's boring. Everybody says that is their proudest moment. But art-wise, I'd say. Something that you think, wow, that I'm proud of that.
I think when I got a phone call from, we did an exhibition, a bunch of artists from the university. This would have been in 2010, I think.
Yeah.
And there's some good artists. There were colleagues. Can't remember all of them. Jenny Ord, Cleone Cole.
Oh, Cleone. I love Cleone.
She's a big lady in the art scene.
Yeah.
She's actually, for me, she's one of the
artists. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And anyway, it was a bunch of us there. Trevor Melville,
Ethna.
Ethna was on that show.
Frankenfeld.
Ethna was on that show with beautiful. She was the pillar of strength for me.
Yeah.
She was an amazing for me. Ethna, love you forever. Always.
Such a sweetheart. Yeah. And then Bruce.
No, Ethna.
Yeah.
So Trevor put. I think he got us together, and we went to gallery in Kimberley, and it's a national gallery. So PE is just a provincial gallery. We only just a small.
Okay.
And they're very organised. Well, they haven't been there for a bit. Very jacked.
Okay.
they have events and movies and weekend events, and
Yeah.
it was very well run.
Okay.
And could well be. I don't follow it that much now,
Yeah.
but lovely
that was
collection
a-
of artwork, and they've often focused on work sort of that the Joburg gang, you know,
Yeah.
the famous
Yes, of
and
course.
all the ones whose whistles blow and
Yes.
whose wheels squeak all the time.
Yes.
So the unknowns, which I like. You know?
Yes. Yes.
So to the unknown soldiers, you know. So,
Yeah.
And this exhibition, and then they phone me to say they want to buy the whole lot,
Wow.
that whole collection. So it was like, so that was quite a windfall, you know.
Yes.
Financially and apart from the financially, the honour, you know,
Of course.
of being in a national collection. So that was amazing.
Because art, I mean, I know art is never a competition, but it's certainly everybody needs that a little bit of I don't know what do you call it, where you just been told what you're doing is good, where you're going is good, you know.
There's got to be artists listening that just don't have the confidence to submit. I'm like that, you know. I don't have my ideas not going to stand up.
Overcritical.
Of the competition's demands, you know, somewhere, and or it could be overseas, or it could be something, and I've never gone big. I've never gone big. That remember me as the harsh critic, you know, about, you know, hopefully that I gave them enough buoyancy and lifted their thing as much as I did of criticism, because it was an environment of a lot of criticism. You know, that's not really, but you had to really kind of say, listen, but this is kind of where it should go, and that's working. You know, you got to
the encouragement.
You got to nurture too.
Yeah,
I think
nurturing.
You know, and I found I try to do that. Hopefully I did. I know times I didn't always, and I know there were people's and whatever. But my pride, that I think was a proud moment. When I rode out the heads in our little boat, that was a proud moment.
Oh, lovely. Lovely.
Against all the rules and the logic, incoming tide and
Hey yo!
with my China.
Go
Right out to sea now. There's the eyes and through the heads. Don't tell anyone. That was crazy.
It is alright, going to have a heart attack.
That was amazing. Oh, Charlie Frost, he was not really a sailor, seaman. I mean, we did boats as kids. He wasn't really, but he was with me on that, you know. Remember, we came in against the tide.
Oh my word!
No, sorry, we tide. So we whipped in fast.
Okay.
We didn't want to go out the tide and then not be able to come back in.
Yes, of course. No, you don't want to.
That was quite an adventure.
She's stuck. Well, Graham Jones, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been fantastic. And there goes Angela McGregor saying, "How's it? Hello, Graham. Love your scarf. Love to hear the backstory." Kathy Marsh, your work is beautiful. She says she loves your work. Sophie.
She's in Vienna.
So in Vienna, she's giving you lots
Vienna.
Oh, Vienna. I love it.
Oh, we love you. Oh, Vienna.
Love that song.
How's that?
Bravo, she says. Thank you so much, Sophie. And Sophie, she says she got your dog. She's got your dog.
She calls you dog, yeah.
Okay. I got your dog here, Pam Fogarty. Oh, that's Pam. She used to be at the gallery.
Yeah, she's at the gallery with
my dear aunt.
Yeah.
With my
Pam,
mom.
I love you to see you, man. I think about you. What about those tuk-tuks?
The tuk-tuks, for Jerry. Her husband does the tuk-tuk still. They call him Grandpa Tuk-tuk.
Oh, lovely.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna see who's won the Fitchin Leads today. We've got a case of Fitchin Leads, kindly sponsored by them, to one of our people here tonight, Annette Lemmer.
Hello, Annette.
She is the one. She's the winner. I don't know if she's in South Africa or not, but
they'll be on in their property out there in Chelsea.
At Chelsea, lovely. We'll get a case of Fitchin to you. Fitchin Leads to you.
Dis deur my dat jy gekyk het, ek gaan dit kom saam doen.
So saam syp met jou. Thank you so much, and thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Spa, and thank you to Fat Cats and our Amobia, our internet provider. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next Tuesday with Dean McClelland. We're going to talk history of Eastern Cape. Woo, it's going to be great.
I love that.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Graham.
Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. Drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver. Get to Gino's spot.
Gino Spot!
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino Spot!
Have a have a giggle and exercise your middle at the Gino spot.